Welcome everyone to Beck and Development Weekly Stream, episode 152, and this is part 2 of the PITT drawing. So I did find out I can twist my lens manually and it focuses. So welcome guys. What's up, Bud? Bud's first. Yeah, finally first. He's been first before. But what's up, 80s Maid? How you doing, sir? Heck yeah, guys. Well, thanks for showing up. We're in it this time. Yeah. Like I said, I got a focus camera now, and I don't know if D-Wag's gonna show up or not. I did send out some links. It's a little early for people to try to do another 4-hour stream. It was fun though. We had a lot of good time. But I did get the camera focus, and I pulled out my mechanical pencils because I looked at a few other drawings of this, and they're very detailed. I was kind of being pretty general with a lot of stuff, just getting my hard line and my shades. But I also saw that PITT's got these beady eyes, more than these big old Sonic the Hedgehog, eyes and stuff. There is also that this is a jacket, not a leather strap. So there's certain things I'm gonna have to work in here. Maybe take some artistic license, but not too much. Because I do like being accurate, but for details I'm using this 0.5 tool, and then I've got a 0.3 here, which I don't know if I need to get into this at all. And then again, we're doing a lot of our darkening lining with the ebony pencil, so we're just gonna keep going here. So let's see. Again, I'm gonna have some fun with the camera while we do this. Now that I can focus it, you guys kind of see a little bit what I'm doing. Where's that lens? Dang it. There it is. Ah, all right. So, like I said, he's got some beady eyes. Where's my... There it is. Oh, no, there it is. Sorry. Got to get my drawing stick set up. This is something where I see some artists... They use pieces of paper to kind of keep their hand from smudging a lot of stuff. Painters use a dowel rod or a stick, kind of keep their hand elevated off the page, but also stabilized. So yeah, man, we got a couple backers yesterday, and a couple buyers on the loading lamp. So, and then 80s Mate actually came up with a really cool idea for them. If you have those smart houses or smart lighting setups where you come into a room and things light up automatically, they do sell a strip light that can allow you to do that. So it was pretty neat. They're just a little pricey for me, but we'll see. It's a really cool idea though. I've got my easel set at really high right now, so the balance is wonky. Yeah, I looked at Dale Keown's PITT drawing and I was like, holy snap, that's a lot of crazy detail, and I can't get that with the normal pencils. I'll have to get out the mechanicals to start busting out like that. Yeah, I saw a lot of the detail in the teeth as well that he had, and I was really like, I love seeing tiny details like that. The geometric shapes starting to take form with the way light hits it. Also, see, he puts a lot of like bass tones and then comes in with that cross hatching and really kind of darkens a lot of those areas up right where they need to, too. Like the line economy and where you put it again. Kind of like what D-Wag and I were talking about yesterday. Line economy. Just using the mechanical pencil to kind of pop out some more of these details, and then I'll get more into the general stuff again with that ebony pencil. I was making some quick work of some stuff yesterday. Yeah, guys, back at Recourse. It's live on Indiegogo right now. Go check it out. Go get the book that's making AI shiver in its little black box. I don't know, I've been seeing some cool stuff. And I've played with Midjourney. My buddy also played with Midjourney for a bit, and the results are insane. But we even tried like doing comic book looking stuff too, and it gets creepy how well they set up some compositions and panel flows. But on Art Bros last night, me, Joe, and Rod were talking about that, and there's still some subtleties about a human employee and designer, that you're not going to get with the AI. We still have the edge, people. Put this music on. StreamYard offers it. D-Wag was telling me that it'll replay the same song over and over again. And I can tell that I'm not sure if I can do this little soft guitar the whole time. In fact, let's change it up. Just do the lo-fi shit. Which that's what a lot of people do. But hey, we're here. You guys can see. Yeah, cool. I gotta remember you guys like these stroke marks in comics. So if he's gonna be looking at us, what's the thing? Out of my face. Sorry guys. Give me a second. Wrestling with the cameras. Alright. Oh, I love my mechanical pencils. Never gets dull, man. You can run out of lead, sure, but it never gets dull. Sometimes you need the dull. I don't think I have a 0.7 in my repertoire right now, but that would put down a little bit darker of a line, and then a 0.9 will put down an even darker line. And as far as mechanical pencils, that's about the range I know about. Treat them the same way as drawing pencils with your HB, your HBs and your 2H's and your 2B's and all that stuff. And your ebony pencil. Conti pencils, depending on what, if you're drawing on like white Bristol or toned paper. Wow. What is up, homies? Yeah, it's a little bit easier to jive with everybody when you got D-Wag, you know, or Dwight or any of those guys kind of plugging at me. Man, that camera shakes a lot when I move my hand. Sorry, guys. Kind of makes you wonder what Bob Ross really was constantly doing. I mean, he was constantly teaching, sure, hey, here's a little happy tree, a little happy wrinkle in the lip right here. I don't know if I can hold that mentality the whole time. Just pet, you know, be good to animals, man. That was the other thing about his messages. I don't know, how was that movie that was, I forgot who played him recently, but hold on, I'm thinking about Mr. Rogers. Aren't I? What are you guys doing over there? Oh, sorry. Getting into the comments. Seriously, can't wear heckins, yeah! Used to watch Bob Ross on public access. So did I. My first oil painting was off of one of those Bob Ross kits. You know, it gives you like a video introduction, the canvas, and it's horrible. I still have it too. It's awful. It's in the other room. I think I was 9 or 10. Bud loves painting. Loves oil paints. Yeah, he's not just a woodcutter. All right. Oh, that beat is so boring. That's all it does. Come on. D-Wag was here, I'd get him freestyling to this. I could play some BECKONED music. It's at least got more variety. Oh, there we go. Finally, a switch up. Alright, so yeah, I added some more details into the face. I got a little bit of that more with some latitude, yeah. Oh, 80s made, you want the link? Shit, let's go. I'd send Bud the link, but usually that's his phone's not as friendly with the internet connections. There you go, sir. And like I said, that's a jacket. It's like a spiked jacket. I don't know if it has torn edges or not. If it does, you guys are going to see me really get brain twisty to disguise the straight lines. Because those are indented in the paper now. There's not much I can do. But I'll have to use folds and foreshortening to hide it. Or it's not really hiding, it's kind of just actually using it, but repurposing. Kind of like what I was telling Joe about, like, my experience with inking stuff. Not comics, but art, ink art. What was man, I liked Willow. I heard this new one sucks for a lot of reasons. And that sucks, man. And I doubt they could bring Mad Mardigan back. If they did, it'd be Hilda. This is my friend, Hilda. Oh, Hilda. The tavern scene. In the old movie, I haven't seen the new show yet. It's cool to see Warwick Davis kind of being brought back for it, but he's been in LucasArts films since the beginning. He's wicked. Screw Star Wars. Alrighty. So if that is a ripped jacket, gotta look at my reference. Oh, what's up, Reese? How you doing? Oh, what's up, Jerry? How y'all doing this morning? Good to see y'all. Yeah, work on some traditional stuff. Yay. Okay, reference images. Going back up to see reference images. Need a full body PITT. There we go. Well, there's pictures of PITT with his shirt off, you know, or the jacket off, I guess. Let's see. That one I was using yesterday was a pretty good reference because he's standing straight up, and I got to see, but it was just a low quality pixelated image, so I didn't get to see the jacket detail. Now I'm getting to see it. Open the info. Yes. Open. Sorry guys, I'm getting the jacket details. All right, it's not really ripped. Okay, all right. Well, that helps. Now I don't have to disguise a straight line. I just have to make the collar cut and the zippers. Okay, stink nasty. We'll get there. Let's see. Collar right there. Oh, what's up, 80s? Zade? What's up, dude? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, brother?
What's up, bro?
I'm doing good.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's like I woke up, I caught you went live, so I was just like, you know, this is a good show for a Saturday.
You know, I'm trying to get done with some drawing here.
Yeah. Well, I said, you know, I hang out with artists all the time, and I said I don't draw, but I talk. So I can definitely always talk to the chat and stuff. And I was like, you know, you're focused on doing your drawing and stuff. I get that it's probably harder. So I was like, I always want to hang out. I'm
skilled, bro. I could talk while I draw. I did it during class.
Well, no, that's great. That's great. I mean, I hung out with some like dudes that they literally just put their head down, start drawing, and I'm just like, oh man, you know, you got to make this thing entertaining.
I would advise any artist that has the time, make some extra money and go do caricature art at like your local zoo or something.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Pays a little extra, but you learn how to kind of talk while you're doing the work.
Very true.
Because it's always the customer over your shoulder going, "Oh, that's cool. How long have you been drawing for?" All the basic, you know, like.
Oh yeah.
But then you're on spot too, so if you screw up, you have to come up with an idea right there on the spot on how to fix it, and that can really improve your twisted brain in art. So.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, that's good. I said, you know, I dig your art, man. This is like the first time I've ever seen you do pencils. So I was like, that's dope.
Well, back when I used to do it, the internet, you know, we didn't stream all the time and all that. Then Rona kind of got me into it, you know, with Joe Catapano and all that. So it's like I haven't even had the setup to really do it like this. So it's been easy doing it with Photoshop. So, but it's more tedious that way. I work a lot faster in graphite. So I'm having a blast.
Well, no, and I said, so I was talking to Boob Dan about this, right? And he was saying, because he was talking to Rainey or somebody, like they were doing digital, and he's like, come on, because they would throw that line down and then they would erase, and then throw a line down, and then so like because they're doing digital and it's so quick to correct, like they're trying to get that perfect line, or like you know, they're just throwing on a pencil, maybe we make a mistake. Yeah. Most people are like, damn, it's so good. You know.
Oh yeah. Like,
do you find yourself when you do digital? Do you find yourself doing that, or you're just doing the line over again?
Yeah. I mean, it depends. Like, I picked up that habit from working with Joe Catapano. I was on one side of the desk and he was on the other. We were both concept artists at this place, and I kept hearing slash, 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 and I'm like, dude, get it right. What are you doing over there? And he was telling me, like, no, I'm trying to get that perfect stroke. If it's not perfect, I just Alt-Z back and try again. So, yeah, I fall into that sometimes. You know, if it's not the perfect, you know, line or curve or contour, yeah. But, yeah, with this stuff, nah.
No, it comes out awesome, man. It really does. Like, you know, I dig your art, but that's dope. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, super dope. So there's one day I'm going to commission you for something. So I'm looking forward to that. So
hopefully it's graphite, because I work a lot faster.
Yeah. Because I want the physical, right? You know, because I was like, what was cooler? You know, you saying, "Hey, Shant, can you do my cover? Or, hey, Sean, I'm going to buy that original piece. Like, what was really cooler?
He gave me the price just straight off, and I said, how much for the original?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
it's dope that you got that cover, but I was like, you have that original piece of your stuff in your house, or you're gonna. I don't know if you got it yet.
I haven't yet, but the box was built for it. And I'm
excited. It's on its way. So that's super awesome. Yeah, and I don't know if you've been catching up with these chats, but Jeremy's here. He says, killing it, man.
Oh, what's up, bro? Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate that.
R2 Reese 2. Hi. Hey.
Lord Nemesis.
Yeah, Lord Nemesis there. Make that monster gay. All right.
Make that monster. Hey. If you guys wanna screen capture it and rainbow color it yourself,
there you go.
Photoshop,
That's the way to do it. No, and that's something actually funny I never think about. So I get comics all the time, and I don't remember which one I was looking at, but I had in the back of the page it had black and whites. It had the just the basic inks, no color. And my kid, I've been getting her into reading comics and stuff because like she's 6 now. We're doing the homeschool thing, and that's how we're doing, education. Like we're like, all right, we're gonna learn to read. She doesn't want to read. She doesn't want to go to school. She's just like whatever. So I just like, how do I get her to want to get into this? Comics, man. So like that's why I've been like, she has full access to these books here. That's why like when I get to indie books, I'm always like, yeah, that naughty cover's cool, but I'm 40 years old. It's not for me. And I said I got to have my kid be able to read this. So that's where I'm at with stuff. And I was like, obviously I got stuff that I wouldn't let her read, but it obviously doesn't go on the shelf. But that's not what I'm trying to get all the time, right? But like it was dope, and I never ever thought about this. So like as like I'm appreciating the line work without the colors in the back. She then looks at that book and she goes, "No one colored it. Can I?" And I'm like, "No," because it was a higher end book. So,
no, don't touch my book.
right. Yeah, it wasn't even like it was an indie book or something. It was just like it was a higher end book. I'm like, no. Yeah.
Can I color it?
Yeah. So yeah, there's that thought of like screen capturing that in color. And I said, yeah, I never thought of that. And then, I have this whole sob story about when I was a kid, my mom made me throw my comic books away. But I really think it was because the whole art aspect. So I never learned to draw, but I did, just like everyone else, have that one moment of like, I can't afford more comics today. Let's draw them. And I started tracing my covers and like trying to do that and like getting into it. And I was like an everyday thing. It was becoming an everyday thing. Well, my mom's an artist. And so she's also not a great person, but I tell people that all the time on my show. Like, no, like really, we haven't talked in years. Like,
okay.
I mean, I'm not even, it's not even just me just being a crappy kid. It's just like, whatever. No. She's not a good woman. Because like my wife met her, and like after years of hearing it, like because we were in the Navy when we met, we started dating. Yeah. And so like when I got out, or like when we went to go visit her for the first time, she'd heard all these stories, and then she didn't believe me. And we laughed like in the driveway. She goes, "Oh my God, I feel so bad for you." So like she met her the one time, and it all came in. But anyway, but she was an artist, and so I think that whole thing is what caused it. Is because she saw potential of me maybe making a career, making money at it, where she was just kind of doing it on her own and not becoming a famous artist. Where she's doing watercolors in her bedroom and like drawing and stuff, and she was always doodling, and just that thing of me maybe doing it and doing something good. She had there was one day, and it was shortly after that. It was basically, hey, you got a bad mouth, you got a bad attitude, throw your comic books away. And then I never had comic books again until like about mid-90s. Spawn #1 came out, and my stepdad's cousin gave me that first book. That was it. And then I didn't have comics again really until Cyberfrog. So
yeah. But
yeah, no, I was into drawing. I was into it, and then it just kind of like it never developed. Now I'm 40 years old, so it's not for me. But I picked up an iPad. Because I'm doing the homeschool thing with my kid, and then it backfired. She wants to play games on it. She wants to watch movies. She doesn't want to use the apps for learning. So now we're doing everything old school. So now I got this iPad. So I was like, I got Procreate for $10. I started coloring stuff. Yeah, I'm not trying to do it professionally or anything, but I was like, it just changed my mindset. Like, because I never learned to draw, and I was like, not saying that I can't. It just, I'm not trying to find the time for it. You know what I mean?
To me, it is fun. Like, let's be real. I'm coloring as an adult. It's fun, right? Is it work? Yes. It is work.
Right.
But it's
fun.
It's fun work. I've worked in construction and hard labor stuff,
right?
And like tobacco stuff and roofing, and that's fun in and of itself if you're a little psycho like me. But
well, there's something about honest labor, right? That like it just makes you feel good. Like if you're in a bad mood, you're in a bad way or whatever, just go do some hard physical labor. You'll feel good.
It's the same thing as working out, you kind of get that anxiety or angst out, or aggression out. When you built something. That's the other cool part, is like generally you've done something for someone else, whether it be like a ramp so they can get up and down in their house, from a wheelchair and stuff, or you just feel good doing stuff.
No, I get that.
But artwork for me is kind of that way. Is like I want to do really cool artwork because it's fun to do, but it also seems to, say like, hey, you could do it too. Get in this. Start screen capture this. Start coloring it. Go, go, go. We're all here.
For real. No, I was like,
tattoos too.
I came up with I came up with a character. I had this whole idea for this book that I'm working on, but I was like, I'm in no way, shape, or form like ready to really get it out there. I'm not trying to run a campaign, nothing. I'm just toying with it, right? I'm just making sure, like, if I do it, and it may never come out. I just have this idea, so I'm working at it, and I was trying to get some like artists to try to help me get what's in my brain out on paper, right? And I commissioned some rough sketches and stuff. I've done that, and then no matter what, I couldn't get this. And to me, it's so simple because like I'm pretty direct. I'm like, all right, so this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, this character from this movie with this thing and this, and like it's like to the point, like where you could literally cut these things out of these movies or whatever my influence is, smash them together, and to me, I can see it. But then the artist comes back and they all want to like put their own spin on it, which is cool, but it's not what I had in my brain.
Right.
So like it's different. Like so I want to nail out the character, figure that out. And then like afterwards, like people can do their own interpretations on it and stuff, and like, their own style. But like when you're adding stuff that's like not in there, I'm just like, or they're taking stuff away. Like I think this would be better. I'm like, well, that's not my character. If you take it away, it's the same thing. Like if you take Batman's, cowl away, he's not Batman anymore. Bruce Wayne. It's the same idea. And so like what I did was and I don't condone it, and I definitely let everybody know what I did. So I photoshopped everything that I wanted together. And then I ran it through the AI art to give me an actual image. No. I get it. So I ran through the AI art just so I can go, hey, artist, this is what I'm really looking for, but I did not draw this. And like the one person was like, oh, bro, it's so awesome. You did that? And I was like, no, I cheated. So like, and it was just so I can go to the artist. Like, I'm not sharing that with people. I'm not like putting it out there. Like, this is what I'm looking for. Like, I just was like, I'm paying you to come up with a design, but you keep coming up with like something weird that's just not exact. So this is what I'm looking for. And then they got it. And then it's like, okay, cool.
That's an actually interesting take on it, because every time I've seen or given direct commands to Midjourney or anything, my prompts are about a paragraph long. They're indulging into the type of photography and the lens to capture it at what type of zoom, and it gets a little nuts, but still the AI does invent its own stuff. Especially when you're trying to get likenesses of celebrities or anything. Like, just look at the Garth Brooks AI. It's murderistically horrific. There's an inside joke to all that, but it's always somewhat off in likenesses. Now, when you're trying to do like a comic book, I said it like, we tried it, dude. It's creepy how well it sets up some panel works, and even like characters look creepishly similar, but there's like in one scene they're wearing a vest and the next scene it's just a collar. I've done some I've got a collection of some AI concepts for some world building stuff. But that was just like 2 months old when Midjourney was kicking off pretty hard. But yeah, I mean, dude, if it gets you to a clear understanding of what you're trying to direct, that's a good tool for a director. You know.
Yeah, and at no point was I ever like going, "Hey, this is my thing. This is what I did." Like, you know, I'm just like, "Look at my art. Look what I." No. I cheated. I photoshopped the shit out of it, and then I threw it through this. And I didn't even do like the regular AI thing where you're like plugging shit in. I like used an app.
Oh yeah.
Use an app on my phone to like just change it.
Give it a source image.
But then I took that and I actually colored it, and so I was like, "That was cool." Because like I had
never really now that's like hard. That. Yeah. See. That's a little handsy.
Yeah, so I
not the bad way.
Yeah. No, I wasn't. I'm not trying to show it off and be like, look what I did. Like that's the thing. Like if I was like, bro, this is what I'm looking for, but I want your style. I want your take on it. But this is my character. Like that's what I would do.
Like I wonder when the communities are going to start accepting AI art, because there's no going back from it.
Right.
You know, you're either going to use it in your pipeline somehow, you know, or your artist is going to use it in their pipeline somehow. I mean, I'll be real with you. I didn't have a really cool I had a really cool concept already for my for the aesthetics of my world and stuff, but then I started throwing it through some of that stuff and trying to carve out what the AI would do, and some of the AI's anomalies gave me ideas. Like it didn't try to do this. It was just because it's AI. It merges like two sides of the face together in the center, and it creates this inversion in the center. And I was like, dude, that would be cool if it's a bone implant and it's part of their culture where they like dermal piercings. They just kind of dermal implant bones. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Now, is that what the AI tried to do? Heck no. It's just, again, one of its anomalies that inspired me as an artist to go, I'm going to repurpose that.
I could see it as a tool, because you remember everyone was crying about digital back in the day. And then you have people that are solely digital artists, and then some that do both, and some that only do pencils. Like there's like a thing about that where it's now accepted and it's fine. Now, my thing is, I'm not an artist, but like I could probably do what those Cal Arts people do. You know, grab a whole bunch of shapes, put some stuff together, and call it a cartoon. Like I could probably figure that out because I know how to use computers ish. But like now, what's the point? Like if I figure out this AI thing, I'm not an artist, and now the computer does it for me, and then I'm saying it's my work. That's what I'm afraid of. Like that's what I don't want. Because like the reason I like art, right? Because no matter what anybody says, like there's a piece of you in it. There's a piece of your soul in that piece, right? Because nobody else could draw. I mean, people can copy it. People can, you know, try to draw like you, but there's never going to be another you, and that comes across in your art.
True.
That's the way I look at it.
Heck yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't hate it. I definitely, if it's used as a tool, I'm in. But I just almost feel that people that aren't artists are going to randomly show up, learn this fucking system, and then just go, "Hey, this is my art." I'm like,
okay. I have actually heard some people that dick with it and go, when they come out of it, go, well, I am the one giving it the prompts. I am the one who's having to direct it. So it's just like a paintbrush that just kind of does all those auto textures and stuff that Photoshop does. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah. I mean, because like at no point, right? Because like, so you're clearly an artist. You have a style. And you can change that style, and you're talented, so you probably can emulate other artists. But when you put those prompts in, is it going to give you your art style? No,
not unless I feed it.
Right. That's a crazy concept. Yeah. We got some more people in the chat here. We got see, is this your brother?
The Devanis. Yeah, that's the programmer of the game BECKONED.
He's like, it's him. Hey, well, I knew you streamed with him. I figured. I honestly never knew your last name until I backed the book and stuff. So maybe they're related. Like, Yeah, you always have the Colonel popped up, and then I was like, I knew your real name ish.
Oh,
and then I always told everybody, it's like, Zade Studios, not the other Zade, but the Zade. You know the
Yeah,
Zade?
yeah.
And like that's how
It's
I
like,
always
I'm
had
hard
this
to-
conversation. And then somebody's like, oh, you know the Colonel. I'm like, yeah, I've seen his show.
Yeah,
So
kind of hard to nail down.
yeah. I never really knew it, but now I do.
Yeah,
Let's see.
that's
Matt
for all
Barr's
you
here.
true fans. What's up, Matt Barr? Yeah, for you true fans though, it keeps you on your toes.
True.
What's his nickname this day?
Ollie, thanks for coming in, brother. Appreciate you from 656. Yeah. Yeah, he says, your brother says, yeah, whatever, that's him. Yeah. I was picking up what he was putting down. No. I was like, the AI art I think it has its place. Obviously, like you said, it's not going anywhere. And it's like every time they introduce technology, like the old school guys, they drag their feet on it. And then eventually it becomes part of the mainstream in some kind of fashion. And the reality is either the audience is going to reject it or they're going to accept it. And then so it depends on how it goes. But I think with the AI art, I think there's going to be so much push from Silicon Valley, from the people that are going to make tons of money off of this, that it's going to be a thing. Like, I think this is going to replace artists in movies and TV. I think it is. I think that's what they're going to go. Because, like, look what the CGI did. Yeah.
What it did with the practical effects and stuff, which
it did.
Still look incredible nowadays. Like, if you choose to do practical effects as much as you can, you're going to get an award for that because everyone else is using CG. And
the thing is, it's like it makes it special again, which is kind of cool. And like I was like, I just watched Black Adam. Right, I was like, a big surprise. I hated it, but I was like, the fight scenes were kind of cool, but like I just felt like it was a mashup of a whole bunch of movies smashed together, same scenes. It felt like Terminator 2. Like there's some stuff in there that it didn't feel like influences. I did not watch that movie feeling like I was watching something fresh, something new. It's like, and at the same time, I never felt like I should connect to these characters. Like I didn't feel like there was a character development. My wife, who's normie as heck, was like complaining the entire time. She was just like, "Oh my god, I hate this." And she usually doesn't. She usually just sits there and like eats the popcorn, watches the movie, and doesn't care. But like she was frustrated, and then and I was dealing with it. I was like, whatever. I knew what I was getting into. But the end scene, the end bad guy, like his CGI looked so crappy. I'm like, basically, it feels like a Hellboy ripoff. Like he's got that kind of look going for him. But I was like, they use practical effects with the Ron Perlman Hellboy, and that looks so amazing to this day. It's like I think 20 years later, it still looks great because my kid watches it and it's a fun movie. But that right there is a high budget, high dollar movie. They put a lot of stuff into it, and that end boss, it kind of felt like a Mortal Kombat ripoff. And that's just my take on it. I said, I know people disagree or whatever, but I was like, I hate most all the new stuff, and that's the reason. And I have a big capital F for most CGI. I think you should have more practical effects, and even when it's really done well, for me, it takes it out of the movie, right? So I was like, I'm not a big fan of the MCU movies. I like some of them, not all of them. But then like Thor. So you go see Asgard for the first time. Obviously that entire thing was green screen, but it was done well. But then it was green screen. Now, if that was a matte painting, I'd have known it was a matte painting. You'd see that a million miles away, but it would have never taken me out of the film. But some reason that CGI did.
Well, imagine if they put CG touch-ups on the matte painting.
Right.
You know,
that would be dope.
Like animated, slightly animated in that painting.
Some buildings, some actual buildings and practical effects. Give me that. Give me that. Yeah. No, and so that's where I'm at with that. So I think that's the road we're heading down, and so I think that AI art's going to get pushed into every avenue, and we're just going to see it everywhere. And so there's something I thought was so cool. I have this Ralph McQuarrie book, right? And it's like for those who don't know, Ralph McQuarrie did all the concept art for Star Wars, and if you don't have Ralph McQuarrie, you don't have Star Wars. I say it all the time. George gets all of the credit, and he created this world and he did everything that he did for it. But Ralph took his words and put it on paper.
Yeah.
And then that created, and then what we have on paper, like literally the concept of Darth Vader is from Ralph, and then we have Darth Vader on screen. Like, and so many things from that book are on the screen. Like Jabba's palace is from there, and so you can't tell me that, you know, you want to talk about the director and stuff. You can't tell me George sat there over Ralph's head and said, "This is everything."
Right? Yeah,
He said, "Here are my words," and then Ralph interpreted that.
I worked with a guy that thought that's how it worked.
Yeah,
I worked for a guy that thought that's how it worked.
Oh,
yeah,
that he was going to tell you exactly what it was.
Camped out over your shoulder all day, dude.
Yeah, that's wild.
Oh, it was awful. It was absolutely awful.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
never releasing who that place was, but yeah, it was atrocious.
But yeah, that's horrible. It's a horrible experience for everybody. And then as a fan, as a buyer, which I am, like it's creatively bankrupt. Because now, like, the dude has an idea, but then why did he hire you?
But then going back to your point,
to go back and then
going back to your point that you want to direct and you don't want the artist to you wanted a horse and they come back with a unicorn. It's like, that's not what I asked for, you know. Like, that's kind of where the guy's mind was at. He actually said that statement, like, I can ask for a horse and I get a unicorn. It's like, well, I mean, I'm glad I wasn't the one who gave you a unicorn. I don't think any of us did. He was just being, you know.
Right. No, and what?
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say is like I'm a huge fan of art, and I always have been. And so, like, for me, I love movies, and so even though comic books went away when I was a kid, they came back now. Movies have never left me. So I have my entire life of appreciating the painted movie posters, because I was alive during a time when they still were, because they stopped doing printed movie posters in the mid-90s.
That's where I'm aiming for the BECKONED wrap cover, was those more painted poster like compositions and stuff, but then it's all that crosshatch that I do. But yeah, it's all getting shrunk down, so we'll see what the texture looks like when it gets printed.
I think it'll be good.
I do too. I'm not worried about it.
But then no matter what, you still always have that art, so you can blow it up. You can turn it into a poster. You
can
do a million things.
Which you got the poster.
Oh, I know. And I got the poster. I got the Sean cover. I just picked up the Loden lamp.
Heck yeah.
And I picked up the original cover. I told you I back. Like, I don't mess around. Like, like, truth be told, if
love
you
that turtle switch
project multiple times, it's probably because I don't believe in your project. Just say it.
Well, that's what I'm even having phone conversations right now, just going, all right, the shipment, getting everything fulfilled. Who do we got as printers on our list? Who do we got? Right. Like, I'm doing that now. I'm so stoked at how everyone came through for BECKONED, and I'm already trying to figure that out.
No, it's super dope. I'll be talking about it tonight on the show, just because big fan, and I don't know if everybody knows about that lamp. So.
Yeah, I'll show that in a second. But we already have the coins that were the secret perk.
Oh yeah, I got to go through and check my email, because I know I signed up, but I never verified that I signed up.
Oh, okay, yeah. But
I gotta do that.
The coins in now.
So dope.
Yeah, that's the main character of this book featured on the coin. So we're going to be doing coins for pretty much every consecutive book. So the next one will be of the main character of the next book.
Wicked. Yeah. I got to go through my email, because I was like, there's nothing worse than trying to catch that on the back end when somebody's like, this costs $1 million on eBay now. And I'm like,
right, you can't see it because of the focus, but on
I know. I guess there's detail.
It says "Carry the Light" etched in that side, and then our website's etched on the rim on this side.
Wow!
So
that's awesome,
wicked cool. And Dwight got that all set up based off of our last coin. So thanks, Dwight. They're sick.
That's a cool thing, and I tell people all the time, like, I'm a fan of the stuff, but I'm just not a fan of the same old. I want innovation. So if everyone's giving me a trading card, then I was like, it's not special anymore.
Right.
That's dope. And people have done the coins before, but I've never seen that. That's cool. And I said that I would be proud to display back here. It just changes. It changes how I look at it. Right. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to, and I was talking to you earlier today. I'm trying to figure out how to make that lamp, not make it better, but make it for me. because like
Yeah.
I do everything here with the smart, and not in my whole house because I don't believe in it. But this room is like full of all the smart plugs and all stuff. Like I do it from my phone.
Cool.
I can change the colors on all this stuff. That TV kicks on with the smart plug. Like it's the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
I want
it's a really cool idea what you're talking about doing too, and let me go ahead and use this opportunity to show a little bit what you can do. So let me pull back. Yeah. So yeah, guys, he's talking about the loading lamp that we have on the campaign right now.
Oh yeah, it's so dope.
So it does work off of a flick switch that's wired. It's AA battery, not enough voltage to cause a fire or anything. And the LED strips on the inside are coated in silicone. So if anything ends up clicking off or starting to spark, that stuff melts it, takes it up. But the bottom of it is felt covered. And we're gonna stamp Beckoned and a logo in on the bases of these. But if you peeled that off or basically ripped that off, you would have the hollow where all the LEDs are packed in, and then I fish them through the channels that I drill. So if you basically gut those out and then replace them with your strips, that should, and then put new felt on the underneath, that should work great. In fact, I might just send you one without the felt glued. And I'll give you the lights all fished in so you can see how it's done. But then, when you get it, you can decide if you want to seal it up and just use it or replace the lighting with your smart lighting. Yeah,
because the one thing I showed you today seemed like a little bit bigger, but if I throw a couple of them in, they're so bright, it might just be fine.
The big one that I made a really large one about 6 years ago. That is about as tall as this. So that's 17.
Wow.
So it's big piece of driftwood, big chunky. And I made it with real crystals that are illuminated. But that's basically how it's done, is the base is packed so much with strip lighting. I didn't have to fish them very much, but it makes the whole.
That's what I'm thinking.
That one plugs in a wall and has a little.
The first thing I showed you, like it's just like little lamps. They're about 1 inch by 1 inch, and there's two of them, and they're super bright. So maybe that'll just work on its own. But either way, like I might be able to do that same thing. I'm just trying to like get rid of the battery thing, because what you did is really cool. It's just I'm horrible with batteries. Like once batteries go, I never get new batteries. Like kind of thing. Like it takes forever. And I was like, I do the show, and like wouldn't it be great to display some of the stuff, like start replacing some of this like He-Man and whatever else I got back here with cool stuff from my friends and the shows and the stuff I buy and back, and like that would be dope. And I was like, to add that light back there.
I'll put a sticker on this one that says, if you mess with it, you void the safety warranty.
Well, because I tinker with stuff all the time. And I said, I got this Triforce lamp back here. I mean, I would be glad to replace that Triforce lamp. And I was a big fan of Zelda, right? Grew up playing it, still play it, love it. But I would be happy to sell that on eBay to make room for your lamp. Like that's where I look at it. Like, because like I want the coolest stuff in my house. And when the stuff that we loved and started, enjoyed our entire life start hating us, it's time to find something new. So I actually am looking forward to replacing my stuff. I'll probably never replace turtles because it's kind of my thing.
Amen.
But some of the stuff back here, very happy to replace it, no problem.
Heck yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, I mean, that's the other reason I'm real attracted to the creativity in this group is it's, even though some of it can sniff a little bit of some corporatism and stuff, the majority of where I'm at, it's our fun. It's our imaginations coming off, and we appreciate each other rather than tell people that we're hatred or hateful.
Right. That's a wild concept. Because I was like, I've never met anybody here, and I hate everything. Here's the funny thing: I hate everything. I complain about everything. I hate all the new stuff, the modern stuff. And so, if there was anybody to say that they're a hateful person, it would be me. But I'm over here going, give me something cool. Like, let's figure this out. And like, so we hung out, and I said, bro, this is what I think. And then you came back with this lamp, and I was just like, dope. And I had to have it. Like, there's no way around it. Like, it's cool because one, I asked for it. Two, you made it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you could have did what everybody else did. And I said, not to knock anybody, but I was like, those trading cards, they don't mean nothing to me. I said, I know some people like them and stuff, but for me, my kid gets a hold of them, they end up in the trash.
Yeah.
Like, same thing, stickers end up on my wall, which I hate. So I was just like, please don't give me no stickers. You know, I was like, but I mean, I get people like that and stuff. So for me, and I tell people this all the time too, like, if I could go to your website and I really wanted your stickers, or I wanted like maybe a pack, maybe there's like a fun pack, you can do like a retro thing where it's just like a couple of trading cards, the stickers, whatever, in like a package, and it's just like, you know, like the CG vintage pack, and it's like $10 or something. Like, I'm sure people would buy that if they really like that stuff, but you know, they say they like it, they get it for free. I would rather you take your sticker that you made and slap that on your box and then mail it to me. And so then I get a cool box with your sticker, and I'm like, oh, because it puts a smile on my face. Like, even though it's just packaging and simple, and I throw it away,
you're proud of it.
Life.
Yeah, like, to be honest, I haven't. There's some packaging I don't throw away. I still have an unopened Mavericks t-shirt from Global Frequency right there, because the packaging is cool, and I saved the package from the one I opened because it's printed on there with Chernobog, and it's like they took care in it, and it becomes just as much part of it.
That's definitely really cool. And no, I get your point. Like, so for me, I don't think I laughed harder, and it's so simple, when I got roach balls. And the brown box,
fun.
And he drew a roach on there, and I'm just like, that fit the aesthetic. Now, he could have like spent all the extra money and had the box printed to have his logo, have his stuff on it. He could have got the logo tape like people do. That's fine, but for the aesthetic of the book and what was going on, that was perfect.
Yeah.
And it made, like, from an artist perspective, like, there couldn't have been any better way to give me roach balls in this brown paper box with a roach drawn on it. That was so cool. It made me laugh. I enjoyed it. And
the book is so funny. I love the ending. The ending respawn is hilarious. I'm like, oh my god, this is great.
Yeah.
Like that supplemental or whatever is in the back of it. Yeah.
I love roach balls. Looking forward to whatever is coming down the road. And I said, I know blue balls, you know, the thing he did with Maddie Fowler. So that's coming down the road. Looking forward to that. But yeah, no, it's like,
Matt is such a fun guy too. He's been putting out like Tiger Blue, Tiger Blue 2, and like, it was fun working on the game. Me and Dwight worked on the Tiger Blue, you know, video game that he put in his packages, and those I just wanted to put more art to it. Like, I wanted to spruce up the art a bit more, but he was like, yeah, my kids play it, they love it, the controls are simple. It's like, cool, we need to do some more with it. But everything about that's dope. Matt's awesome. I've had him on the show a bunch of times. He usually shows up on Saturday when I'm drinking, so like, I don't know if that's just how it works out or whatever, but like, I like having these more daytime streams where it's you know, we can have an actual conversation, where usually my show, it's later at night, a whole bunch of people show up, it gets a little wild, people talk about each other. No, I agree with you. Like, doing this, I didn't know if they were, like, I figured you guys were at work a lot of the time, you know, and then, well, there's some on Upside Down land that stay out late, so I didn't know, and me and D-Wag were just like, hey, let's go ahead and do this, you know, on stream. And he tag teamed me last night for it, so it was awesome. But yeah, again, we had a pretty good show up, and I was like, holy crap, that worked. All right, well, let's do it again. I want to be done with this.
Yeah.
And then I get the mechanical pencils out, and I'm busting in more detail. It's stupid, but thanks for the company, man.
Yeah, no problem. Like I said, like, well, I like to support when I can. And I just happen to be talking to you. I can't always catch like the daytime streams, but it's the weekend. Because like I do a lot of my family time, and like if I were up here all the time, but Saturday I was able to break away. I told them, I said, I'll be up here for like an hour or so or whatever, and then they were cool with that. But if I was doing this regularly, nah, my wife would have my head. Yeah, my kid's like cool with it. She's like, all right, cool. I'll do whatever I want now.
Yeah,
my wife's not
out of my hair.
Right. So, but I like normally, like if it's a daytime stream and I like to support, a lot of times I'll throw it on. I'll be on my phone. I'll be in the chat, and then there'll be a point where my wife will just give me a look. because it's like on the weekend. She's home, and if I turn the volume down, so I'm still watching. I'm supporting. I'm in the chat, but like I'm missing what's going on because like she's trying to watch whatever. So I was just like, oh, cool. But
you have a crush on Michael Bancroft.
Yeah, she's like, you like Bancroft more than you like me. I'm like, you're not wrong. He brought me.
Get your forehead. Get a larger forehead, darling.
That's right.
No, he's great. People like when I first came into this group, 2.5 years ago, or maybe 2 years ago, I lost track of time drawing Beckoned guys. But yeah, it's like him and Mel and everybody in the group just made it fun. And he said, "Oh, me and my wife just basically sit around and watch CG shows all day." It's like, yep, that's pretty much what I found myself doing too.
Yeah, I do too. And like, it's cool that his wife does it because like his wife subscribed to my show and she's been in my chat a couple times. Like, not always, but like when she shows up when he shows up. So like I don't know, they depending on who else is in the chat, they might be having a good time that day. But it's just wild. Like my wife wouldn't even think twice. Like she would never watch you guys. Like or us, like ever. My wife doesn't. The reason I started YouTube was so I have somebody to talk to about the stuff I like because she was tired of listening to it. So it's just like, well, I like talking about like movies and comics and like you can only hear about Cyberfrog so many times before she's just like, I'm done. Like, yeah. So yeah, and I was like, I didn't know you were working on Beckon for 2 years. I showed up here.
About 2 years, let's say about 1.5 years, really, because it was right after Star Circuit had launched or had completed its campaign and went into end demand is when I started on Beckon. And so I don't really know what time that was. Like I said, I've kind of lost track. So whenever Star Circuit had ended, that's when I started working on it. Yeah. I mean, as far as like the comic itself, like the lore and all that's been worked on for years.
Yeah, that's a concept I talked to people about before. And so like I showed up, I created my channel at the end of February, like last week of February is when I showed up. So about 8-9 months I've been doing this. And but I've been buying CG books for years. Pretty much they launched Cyberfrog and I was on board. So then I've been in the space. But obviously creating my own channel, doing my own thing, I have branched out and found other people and stuff. And so like I've been talking about Beckoned probably, since like June, July of last year. And,
heck yeah.
Because I found it and I thought it was like dope as hell. I saw the sign up page and then it was after that I found one of your streams or whatever. And then I've been talking about it here and there for a while. So I've been really, really looking forward to it. And then obviously glad to like, get to know you too, like that's even doper, right? Because like think about this, like this is no different than back in the day, like reading Spawn and then getting to hang out with Todd McFarlane. It's the same attitude, right?
I've said that a lot. Is like one of the big coolest things about this is that I know the majority of the backers on this. Like I see them, I'm like, heck yeah, they backed me. That's awesome. We just talked over there. We just did this. Like, yeah, that's cool to actually know I don't even want to call them customers. They're straight. This is all straight support, Yeah. And it's just, that's so much cooler of a thing.
Right. And then that is, so there's the idea where people back you because they know you, right? And they want to support. But see, I wanted Beckon because it's in my wheelhouse. Like this is a book that I'm into. I'm interested. Like, when I see this, I just remember being a kid and finding Willow for the first time. Like that to me is what I feel like. I mean, obviously I don't look at this and see Willow. I mean, there's probably some influences, but like that's where I am as a kid. This looks like a fun adventure story, and this is right up my alley. So, because like if you were doing basically a Spider-Man book, I'd have been like, cool, man. Zade's got a book. Back that today. Like, and that's where I'd be with it. Like I'd want to support because I like you or whatever. But this one, I'm telling you, I was excited whether I knew you or not. Like that changes the game because like I'm super excited about this one. And then everything that you've been doing, like I said it before, the customer for life, man. Like you have to really screw me over with that story for me to go, what?
Okay, well,
hot take.
Hot take. Let's I don't want to mislead anybody, and I hope I've been clear in saying that this first book is a part 1 of a 3-part prologue that's called Beckon Recourse. So there's part 1, part 2, part 3. On the third campaign, when part 3 is campaigning, I will be offering a hardbound with all 3 of the issues in one hardbound.
Yeah,
to complete that scenario. Now, I've been talking to writers and not necessarily editors yet, because I think when you give it to an editor, all they want to do is change things right then and there, and it's like, I'm not ready for that yet. I want to get all these ideas cleared, so when the editor reads it, maybe he finds worth to keep something instead of 86ing it. You know, like, I want to give it my best shot. But I don't know where I was going with that. I was going somewhere with that, but the story element is so to put a big complicated fantasy world in a 32-page book in a script and story that's going to keep it. I didn't want to go super complicated with the story that you're reading. There's an overarch of all the subtext and all the world building that's back there that kind of fills in the gaps of this guy that goes to work and watches his boss basically blow up a nuclear bomb in their city or something like that. It just, you know.
So you don't want to mislead people in thinking like they're missing out, because there's more to the story that's coming down the road. But like, there's a way to do that, right? And it depends on how you execution. It's like the worst word. I hate that word, but it's so true, because I hate it because like anytime I talk about like some of the ideas that I had, like there's always that response of like, cool, as long as it's executed right. But it's coming from a place of like, I talk to mostly artists, so when I come in with like, I got this idea, it's almost like I hit a brick wall. They're like, who the hell are you? You're just the YouTube guy that hates everything. Like I'm just like, if I was an artist, I think I would have got a different. My
question, but my thing is, why does that matter?
Right.
It's like it really shouldn't. No, I mean,
it wasn't everybody. I've gotten a lot of positive, like from my ideas, like I was talking about. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from it, or like that's really dope. Like Crazy Mad, he's super supportive. Like I was telling him about my character and stuff, and he's like, "Oh, bro, it sounds awesome." He's like super excited for it to come out. But like, there's other people that are actual artists. They're like, "Yeah, it's cool," and I look at it, and more than likely, it's not in their wheelhouse.
Yeah, that usually tends to be a lot of it. I like a challenge. So I like someone saying, "Hey, can you draw this?" And me go, "Yeah, do you think I could draw it?" "No." "Okay, let me show you." I like doing that. It's like, because art is something that I think we all can do. But I don't think a lot of people like to take the chance in screwing up or looking bad in front of other people. You know.
Yeah, I know I can learn. I just don't want to. I'm 40 years old. I don't want to put the time in. I want to buy my art. I don't want to make it. So, but I'm a creative person, and I have ideas that I think will work. And you had mentioned editor. Now that comes twofold in CG, I think. So here's my opinions on it. So you had mentioned right off the bat, like an editor or somebody wanting to change things right away. You're not wrong, but I think
it's harsh. I think that's a harsh statement coming out of my mouth. I think that's a harsh statement. So to be fair,
you're not wrong though. It might be a hot take, it might be a harsh statement, but you're not wrong. So one, I feel that so many books that I've gotten would have benefited from an editor. But there's some things that have like at the core of it, the bones are good. They're just like, I'm confused. Maybe there's no character development. Maybe I'm lost because I can't tell what's really going on. There's some things like that editor standpoint, I think needs to happen more often. And whether it's through your friend, somebody that can be critical. And the thing is, people don't think that I can be critical.
I told my friend, be mean.
They think I'm being mean. One, two. The other thing is, most people think that attitude of like, maybe it's not in my wheelhouse. The reality is I can set that aside. So if there's something I don't like, a genre I don't like, I can still look at the art critically, and I can look at if I understand it or not critically. And most people can't. because it's not a book they would have bought in the comic book store when they were a kid. So and they just go, I hate it or I don't like it because it's not a book they ever would have bought anyway. So they were setting themselves up for disappointment because they wanted to back the creator. And I'm not going to name names or whatever, but there's been several people I've talked to in back rooms where they don't like something, and then we go live and it's like, oh, this is so great, yeah, back this today, blah, blah, blah. And then they themselves will back the second project, the third project. They'll keep backing while saying they hate it in the back room because it's not something they ever would have bought in the first place, because it's not their thing, it's not their cup of tea, but they want to support the creator. Well, then you should understand that. I don't think everybody can.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, and I'm not saying I'm the best or whatever, but I said I know that I can look at something critically, whether it's the type of thing I want or not, you know?
Yeah, like, again, because I've heard the same, I've lived this. I haven't just said it or heard people say it. I've grown up doing this. So, yeah, your word, the worst critic, and I do mean critic, the worst you could get, like, you can't get much out of it, is your friends and family. They are going to pat you on the back. They are going to make 100%. You feel good. You know, they want to support you. Yeah. But if one of your other friends is an artist, like, you guys owe yourselves to be dick to each other. You know?
100%. And I say that all the time. And then when I do it, even to my friends, when I do it, I don't usually get like that, like, thanks, buddy. Like, I get their feelings are wrapped up in this, and I said at the end of the day,
no, you got to get the job done. That's what it's about. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings.
When I say, you know, bro, the art, I love it. It's super. You know, I'm a fan. Like, I'm 100%. Like, I've got no nitpicks. I mean, I'm sure you could show me some stuff, and if I was looking at it, I might be able to find some things where I'm like, bro, I don't understand this. I do it. I have a friend that I do it all the time. Like, we hang out in back rooms, and he'll show me like what he's been working on throughout the day, and then I'm like, I don't get it. I can't tell that this is a panel. Like, the way you drew this, like, it's cool, it's dope, but I don't get it. And I was like, or I'm like, your foreshortening's weird. The way her arm looks like whatever, and then the other arm, it's not the same. And then he's like, oh, okay, I see. And then it'll be a simple change, like where I'm like critical on it, and then he's like, he just changed it, like, because he does digital, so he just like swoops a line in, and then it's amazingly fixed. And I'm like, and I get it. And he can take it. Other people, nah, and they can't. Like, we're not here for hugs, man. We're here for better.
No, right. And I don't want hugs if it's wrong. I don't want the participation trophy. Right. I want to know, does this look right or does this look off? And I'll be real, I'm the first one to tell you guys, like he said, the foreshortening's off on this forearm. He wasn't meaning me, but I'm gonna sit there and say the foreshortening on this is a little.
Well, I haven't seen all that, because I mean, I would tell you if it was.
No, I know. Kind of, using what you're saying as a launching point for that.
No, and I wouldn't, and it doesn't come from a place of malice where you see it. And I do know that you can see it on Twitter. And again, I'm not going to point any names. There are people that will come in with I didn't like this, or I don't like that creator, or whatever. And that comes from a place of malice, and it comes from a place of malice. And it's very clear. So when I do it, I'm just here to make you better. And I'm not going to try to do it publicly. Like, if you ask me publicly, I'll tell you. And like, there was a Rob Wilson, Wilson's Artslations. He's got that YouTube channel. Cool dude. He's a young artist. He actually made a book a while back. It sucked, and he asked my opinion live on his show. And before we went live, I warned him.
Don't do that.
Get it. No, he goes, give it to me. I said, bro, you've seen me get drunk and yell at people for Netflix. I said, if you want the real criticism, you're going to get it. I said, I'd rather do this like back room conversation. And he goes, no. And we went live, and he asked me over and over and over again. And I told him a new one, like Mo's in the chat dying laughing, like, like we're all having a good time. Like Brian was there, like a bunch of people were there, like dying. But I'm like, I was giving it to him, like I was tearing him up, but it made him better. And this was his first book from like a year or two ago or whatever, and like he never even put it on CG. Like, he never came here. He was in the military at the time. He just put it out. He was somewhere on like web cartoons or something. And then his art has gotten better over the years, and so like that right there, he's already gotten better before I got to critique that. And so then even on his new stuff, I was nicer. I was like, this is definitely a lot better. There's this. And then I said, when I was like, you know, this is wrong. The leg is wrong. It was coming from a place of love. And his entire book is not in my wheelhouse. Like it's something about it. I would have never bought that in the store. I like the dude. I'd probably get the book to support him. And then to give my thoughts on like the way things are. I'm there. That's what I love to do. Because I want better books. I want better stuff.
Yeah. You know, and I agree with you completely on that. With the, you know, if you're going to ask for it, you better kind of be ready to kind of take it, you know. Like,
Man to be, Jim Cox, hail.
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Yeah.
And at the same time, like if you're on a construction site and you're doing trim work, and this is your maybe 5th year doing trim work, and you're working with a guy who's been doing it for 20 years, okay? You go over there, you nail this corner together, and he comes back and tells you you did it wrong.
Right.
Now, what are you going to do? Are you going to get mad? You going to slam the nail gun down or whatever you're using? You going to march out of there? Oh, they don't like my trim. Or are you going to ask them, okay, how would you do it? And then have them show you and then redo it. You have to have someone telling you how to do something better to get better. There's no end point to art. You're always going to get better the more you do it. And you have to have people giving you the fresh eye feedback because you're too close to it.
Right. You're 100% right. And now, there's the avenue of like, people will take my thoughts and they'll say that they'll call it quantifying the criticism. Yeah. And so they're like, I'm just going to take all this criticism and then I'll just, you know, pick out what's best. And then I get put in that category because I'm not an artist. I don't draw. So what do I know? I'm like, well, I buy this stuff. I look at it all the time and I can see if I don't like it or I like it, like immediately, like within seconds. You can see, or you can see that something's off. Maybe I can't explain it correctly, but I can go, hey, that's off. And it's no different reading a story. And I've said before, me personally, I don't care about grammar. I don't care about spelling. If I can read it, figure it out, it's whatever. I can get it. But like, if I'm reading that story and I don't know why I don't know why I should care about these characters, and then the book is over, or there's no good character development, there's no, maybe there's no clear direction. So like we're going and all of a sudden it jumps from this place. Now we're somewhere else, and then we're somewhere else, and like there's no path to how we got here. So it's confusing. I as a normal person, I can go, I don't understand this, and because I don't draw or make anything, my criticism usually gets met with the feelings thing where they're like, well, screw this guy.
Well, why screw this guy? He's the actual audience.
Right.
Like, he's not an artist. He's an audience member. So, and that's who you're making art for, right? I mean, I would love to have a bunch of artists go, dude, I just want to collect your artwork. What a stroke to the ego.
Right.
You know, but no, I'm not making art for other artists. I want to make art for a customer who likes what I'm doing. And then hopefully, if it does affect another artist, maybe they start pushing me further. You know, maybe they start putting stuff in there. I'm like, oh, I was totally missing that. You know, that's kind of how this is supposed to work, in my opinion.
No, I think it is. I think that's the best way to do it. And like, you're obviously not going to reach out to everybody. And at some point, you can't reach out to you start to reach out to too many people. It gets very daunting because everyone's going to have their own opinion, right?
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Too many cooks in the kitchen. You can't have that. But at the simplicity of, if everyone's saying the same kind of things of like, I didn't like this or this is wrong, like you can kind of see that, and that goes into that quantifying the criticism. But now here's the other token of that, to play the other side, which you had said, which most people don't want in CG. They basically just want the spell checker, the guy that's going to make sure Allie doesn't yell at him for commas. That guy, right?
But I know, like,
it's coming.
I think any good writer needs to do their due diligence and make sure that's not there before they get to, you know, 100%. An editor. You know,
right, 100%. And like, and so coming from different backgrounds and stuff, like, so find somebody like, so I like your work, right? And in a heartbeat, most people, they try to get me to read their stuff ahead of time, and I'm like, nah, I want to read it when I get the final book.
I did tell you can read some of my novel writing, right?
Right.
Not
well, there you go. That's something to look at.
On the website of zadestudios.com, in the games section, there's a novel section that's 12 pages that will ruin the upcoming 2 books. That's a warning. If you don't want spoilers, don't read that chapter.
No, I don't want to spoil stuff like that. But like, if you were like, hey, 80s,
I've got better writing since that. Yeah, like that was 6 years ago, or 5 years ago.
You've grown.
Yeah, I've gotten better.
100%. No, and that's the thing. If you were like seriously like 80s, because like we can look at this on stream all day, and I can like it or not like it, or tell you, hey, maybe something's weird or something's messed up, change it. But like, if I don't know your writing and you're like, hey, 80s, can you read this? Can you just see if it makes sense or whatever? I can do that, right?
Yeah.
And then, but like, I'm not gonna go, this needs to change, this would be better. Like that does, I think more people are afraid of that, and then people think that that's what an editor does. So no matter what, it's your story. But if you write me a story where it's all over the place and I'm like, bro, cut this out, change this around, like that makes sense to tighten it up. But to change your story, that's what I think people are afraid of.
And that's probably not gonna happen.
Right.
An editor's not going to come in there and be like, oh boy, it's my chance to shine a little bit and rewrite this guy's chapter so I can sit there and say, that's not going to happen.
No, and
that's not what they're there for.
Yeah, right. It's almost like you're taking their baby and they're just like, nope, chop these arms off.
That
Babies
doesn't
don't need
happen.
arms now. Like that's the issue. Like I think people are so afraid of it.
Yeah.
And
I hope people aren't taking that from what I've been saying about it. Is like, I'm not afraid of that. There's just certain.
So now you think everyone's going to try to change your shit?
Yeah. That's not what I'm saying.
Oh, the Colonel said he wants us to change his book.
No. What I mean is, I'm not saying that about editors. It's like, I'm not going into editor because I'm afraid of them changing my stuff. I'm not ready to give it to an editor yet.
And that makes sense. But you're not negating the editor. You're just not ready. And that's dope.
Right.
There's been so many people that are like, nah, I'm the editor. I was like, nah, that book's not going to be great then. I said, I don't care if you're the best. I don't even care if you're an editor. If you're so close to the project, you're not going to see any of the flaws.
Right. I say that's the biggest thing that I've learned in artwork is the fresh eye thing. And from college, and you've probably heard this technique. If you want fresh eyes on your image like this, I need to go to the bathroom and hold it in a mirror, and then I can see how my perspectives look from a mirrored flop. Insane concept, simple, but it really works. It shows you. Oh,
I've
this
never
isn't
heard that, but that's dope.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah, you just get that real quick, fresh look at your piece from a mirrored universe, and it's like you can tell where you need to fix it.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I never thought of it that way. But yeah, no.
Look at some of your favorite artwork from your best artists and hold it in a mirror. That's it can break your heart, and then at the same time, it can amaze you how well it's done. Like the break the heart thing is like, dude, this thing's so excellently proportioned and angled, and you throw it in a mirror, and it's like really slanted, off one way, and you're like,
I can see that. I was like, I probably wouldn't do that, but I mean, obviously, I hold some of the favorites in there, but for me, it's always been with art, how the artist draws a woman. So most of the artists, not all, but most of the artists that we hang out with are dudes, right? And then you can draw big buff dudes, as you're drawing one right now. It's super awesome. You can draw all kinds of
PITT is a dude.
Monsters.
Pets were boobs.
Yeah. But yeah, like it's crazy how like it just changed. You can have somebody that's drawing like monsters and all this like cool stuff. They can draw cars, awesome, and then they draw a woman and it's like janky. I was like, have you ever seen a woman? So for me, like, if I don't care what you can draw, like I mean, obviously I love your art and stuff, but like, and I'm saying in general, so like I don't care what people can draw. Show me how you draw a woman, and then I'll say whether I like your art or not.
Oh yeah, I mean the hard thing about drawing the face in general, especially a woman or babies, is the subtleties. And a lot of people want to put dramatic lighting, and if you don't know your shapes well enough or know how light wraps around something that's soft or has some edge to the or anglement to the gauntness of the cheeks or something, and you overshadow that or do it, you just ruined it. You just took the softness out or the elegance out, and it's hard. But then you can overcompensate and not put any of that in there because you're too afraid to do it. And so all you get's a face with eyeballs, nose, and lips. You know, there's no like form to it because you were afraid to put these soft shades. And it's hard to do soft shades with binary marks like an ink pen and white. You know, it's hard, but it is doable.
Yeah.
It goes back to the simplification. Like to a lot of these guys, they learn to simplify shapes. So they're like, learn to draw noses, like all different types of them. Turn the angle, simplify them. Yeah, that's your visual library. And when people bring up Kim Jong-gi, I mean, that guy, I love what he did, but he's doing all the work in his head, all the layout in his head, you know? You got to respect a guy who can do it in his head and then look at a blank page and go, okay, here's where it goes. And I try to do that. Yesterday, if you all saw how I laid this out, I'm just moving all over the place thinking of where shapes land.
Yeah.
He's doing that in his head. You know? And
and there's something to be appreciated with, like, you know, how other artists do their process and stuff. So like, you know, you look at that dude and you're like, he's a master.
Yep.
No, but I look at other artists and I think the same, because I don't put a pen to paper all the time. And when I do, it's to write a check. Like, I mean, like, that's where I'm at. I write a list of stuff. I go to the grocery store. You guys put a pen to paper and you come up with something I want to buy. I'm literally like, give me, you know, let me give you my money.
Yeah, that's the nutty thing. You turn simple graphite and paper or ink into money. Yeah, something that could feed your family or pay your rent or, you know, pay your mortgage. You know, or take you on vacation. You know,
true,
like, you know, that's why I always tell a beginner artist, if you've got a family and all that, just try to pick up a couple side jobs if you can, because that's hard in and of itself. But then just make some vacation money, you know, and then have your family feel good about you doing art to pay a bill or to take them on vacation.
Oh yeah,
you know. And it's an easy argument point. I don't want you drawing all day. Do you want to go to Florida again?
So like, and that's the thing with this, right? So my kid sees this whole thing as work. So like, I come here, I do the channel if I do any social media, because before February, I wasn't really on social media. I didn't have an account. I had got a Twitter because there was a couple CG YouTube channels I was trying to watch, but I wasn't getting the notifications for whatever reason. So I was like, well, they put that stuff on Twitter, so I'll just get a Twitter for that. And so like, I only, at the time, I might have had like 50 followers, or I might have been following 50 people, and like maybe I had like 1 or 2 followers. I didn't have anything. And then I started the YouTube channel, and then I just got into it. I was like, oh, social media, everything. So now my wife has got on me because I'm 40 years old, and this entire time I'm like, that's how the government gets you with social media, and you know, you don't need a cell phone.
And then you're over there on it all day.
Now I'm on Twitter all day. I'm like social media up, and like my kid's like, what are you doing? And she goes, my daughter says I'm working, and so like my wife sees it as I'm playing. Like she sees this as a hobby. And I said, well, potentially my goal is to become a YouTuber. Eventually I can get monetized. That's the goal. But because I haven't been, and I can't, and then I hang out with all you guys and stuff. And I said, I also got an idea for a book. Maybe one day I'll put it out. Like, but because there is no money coming in from it, my wife sees this as playing.
Yeah. I mean, you know, everyone's, you know, entitled to their opinions at times. And I've dealt with that in life before. It's like, dude, you like dating someone and then you come home from a job that does this and you're happy to come home. You're happy to get up in the morning and go to work. And then they come home from their job like, I hate the fact you're always happy and I'm always miserable. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, your boss sucks. Like, what am I supposed to say?
For real.
But,
for real.
You know, I say make it fun for everybody as much as you can.
Well, there's that thing. And so like my wife doesn't like any of this stuff. So like how like it's cool that Bancroft's wife, you know, watches shows with him. She's in chats and she does that and she participates. My wife, you know, she's the opposite of me. She likes to watch football. So
Oh dang!
right, yeah. My wife spends every Saturday during football season watching Ohio State. She's a big fan, and she was born and raised like that's what their family does. But I mean, this entire room is me, and so like it's the family den. Like we put it in this. So like we have old CRT TV in here and VCR tapes, and you know we play the old school video games on the weekends. Like we spend our weekends in this room. But this room is me, and it's just all I got Star Wars and like my toy. I got He-Man toys. I got on the thing back there. I've got turtle toys. I've got all this stuff. It's just me. You go downstairs, and it's Ohio State football, and you know there's like baseball memorabilia and stuff like that. It's just not for me. So like to try to get her involved in it, the only way she's ever gonna like be on board 100% is if money's coming in.
Yeah, if I ever went home and I got made fun of for like my Legend of Zelda statue or my Ninja Turtle NECA figure over there or something like that. Oh, hey, you're a grown man. What are you doing with toys? It's like,
my wife just calls us nerds.
What are you doing in your UK costume? Your United States, your University of Kentucky costume. Look at all that. Your whole house is decorated. UK. You're like a UK hobbit up in here, like just sitting there.
Yeah, it's really different, and they never see it. But my wife calls us nerds. She calls me a nerd all the time. But I said she's no different. She has a football jersey.
Everybody's a nerd of something.
I said I'm a dude, and I said I will never wear another man's name on my shirt.
That's funny. Who said that? What comedian said that?
I don't know. I've been saying it my whole life because I remember in high school the cheerleaders would wear the football players' jerseys all day long, and then they'd have a game that night. And they were dating the cheerleaders, so it was just always like a thing. Like so, I've always associated it from that.
And then so the tight end sniffs you, and he's like, "You smell pretty."
It's funny. So I got to find that comedian because I've been saying this my whole life. And so like for me, even if I was into sports, I wouldn't. So like I like turtles, but like I'm not wearing a Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird shirt. You know, like I was like, I'm into that. Like it's like if you put out some merch and then you like put your name on it, I'm like, nah. But if you were like Beckoned Recourse, I'm like, yeah, I'm in. So that's where I'm at in life. But my wife doesn't see it that way. She sees it as like her stuff is, it's I guess normal. That's the way she sees it.
Well, did you show her the picture I drew in Beckoned Recourse of like Tepestro's wife and baby, kind of like facing off each other? It's all sweet and all like precious moments. Show her that and be like, yeah, we make pretty stuff too.
No, I do. No, it's but that's the thing is like. We have flower plates. That's because
what are these monkeys? Is this Planet of the Apes or something?
She doesn't get into any of that stuff. Nothing. No. She loves her football. She loves that. She's like, she's fine with that. But I was like, nah.
I've played basketball against the U of L team in an off season in an off league. Like I used to play basketball. I'm 6'4", so I played a center. But like those U of L guys kicked our asses. I was on the sideline taking pictures of their dunking on us and sending them to the rest of the teammates. I'm like, look at this stuff. They're kicking our butts.
Yeah.
But no, it's basketball, not football.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was raised by a single mother for a long time, and then we just weren't into sports. And then when she married my stepfather, he was an intellectual. So, so again, never had real sports in the house. So it's something that never got into me. But when I was in high school, like I ran track, I did the shot put, I wrestled for years, but like, I never played basketball or football, but it's because the family didn't care. So it was one of those things. So it's not like I wasn't into sports. I mean, I could have been. It just it's not how it turned out. I watched a lot of Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I did too. My older brother was in the Navy. Family's real proud family, So I was a Marine Corps ROTC through high school.
Oh wow!
My school offered an ROTC branch of it, which is rare, but it was the coolest experience. The coolest experience is I used to have asthma before that. So when we had to do physical training all the time and every week, I think it was more psychosomatic than literal because I don't have it anymore. Now I'm smoking cigarettes, so it's like it bounced off the opposite.
Oh, it happens. I was like, no, it's just wild. Like what makes up you? Like it really is when you look at that aspect of it. Like so, and here's something: if we were on my show, and I was just like learning about all this stuff. Like I would have went in with the like, what movies influenced you? But I mean, you've already talked about it, like for Beckon, like you know, all the stuff that I grew up loving anyway. You know,
Yeah, you know, that's a one dimension.
It's a one dimension, it is, but like, what influenced you to become an artist? Like, where'd you get with that?
I liked, you know, the old VHS tapes of like the Superman movie. It was the yellow cassette.
Yeah.
I had that, and I was like, I could see the art on it, and I don't know what it was, but when I picked up a crayon, I didn't stop. Something about me just loves doing this ever since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I started. As far as like finding the importance of it, I just had a supportive family and people that always went, "Oh, you draw really good." And then we went to church a lot, so I'm drawing on the bulletins because I'm bored, you know, and then getting in trouble there. Or I'm bored in class, so I'm drawing, and then I get detention, you know. But then I started learning that I tested better when I drew during class, because instead of looking around the room and looking at everything else, that side of my brain is busy doing something while I'm listening to the lecture or something. It's like how I listen to music or a movie while I work.
No, and I said there's something with that. That's why I've always said, like, as it is almost disappointing for me, and I'll never know because I'm not gonna do it now. But it's disappointing for me for how art was squashed in my life so early, because I know that I have that artistic brain. Because I've, like you said, you were an auditory learner. That's how I went through all high school. I never did homework. I only passed high school because tests. I would sit there and listen, and I would ace every test, and they would blow their mind that I never did homework, I never did the school projects, I never did anything I was supposed to do, but I passed those tests because I would just sit there and learn. I never cracked books. I never brought a pencil or paper. Like if I needed a pencil or paper, I'd always borrow somebody's. I never.
Oh, you were that kid, man! I never got my pencil back.
Yeah. No, for real. So there's a funny story with that too. Like I was horrible with it. So like there was this broad, and I had a class with her in the morning, and I had a class with her at night. So I asked her to borrow pens. Now, mind you, I went to high school with this broad all 4 years, and I had many classes. And so wait till it's revealed. My senior year. And it's probably like the end of the year. So like just after spring, it's starting to get warm out. We're about to graduate. So I borrow a pencil or a pen or something from in the morning. And she does this thing, and like we'd become friends, but she knew me, like flat out. She goes, "I need that back." I said, "Okay, no problem. So class ends, whatever. I said, "But I'm going to need it for the whole day." She goes, "All right, no problem." So I was like, "I'll give it to you later." So I was like, and I know that I had a class with her at the end, like the last period of the day. So I go to give her a pencil back or a pen back. She goes, "You didn't borrow this." I said, "Yeah, I did." And she goes, No, you didn't borrow this." I said, "Are you fucking nuts?" Like I'm yelling at her in class now. I'm like, I borrowed this from you this morning. You said I needed it. I went 4 years with high school. They were fucking twins, and I had no idea.
Oh no!
So obviously they have a different first name. And that's how oblivious I am. I have classes with them and stuff, and I never knew. And the fact that I saw them in the morning, they didn't dress the same. So I just was so in my own shit, like doing.
That's a wardrobe change between periods. What?
I never even, and I pay attention to the littlest details on all kinds of stuff. So like the reality that I saw her in the morning and I saw her in the afternoon. They did have the same backpack, but like. To see her in the morning and the afternoon and not dawn on me that she was wearing a different outfit, and then argue with her that I borrowed that pen this morning, and then she literally looked at me like I was broken, and she was just like, "That was my sister," because I said I borrowed it from you this morning, blah 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 blah. And we have this class together. What is wrong with you? Like I literally am like going out of my mind, and like thinking she's messing with me. And I was like, I know it was you, and sure as hell. And then that was the one that hated me. So there's twins. And the one that gave me the pen in the first place, like, she actually liked me, and the other one hated me. And so even after school, like we hung out like at that, and then the sister wouldn't even like come in the room if I was there, like, and it was because probably that I had no idea that she was a twin. So I spent 4 years of calling her sister's name.
Yeah, that's
nobody ever corrected me.
Likeness can get you in trouble. So you have to have that outside opinion to keep you on track.
That's right.
If you would give me 1 second, my phone's on the charger in the other room, and I'm going to go mobile for a second.
Yeah, for real. Let's see. We got these chats. I think we're caught up with everybody in the chat. But Jim Cox, wow. Amanda, I don't know. So you need this turtle shirt. I'm pretty sure I got it on Amazon. Believe it or not.
Yeah, sweet.
But I got 3.
Yeah, I told D-Wag I was getting out the mechanicals today and starting to bust out all these details.
Oh, would you? Grabbing at the details there.
Yeah.
Oh, dope.
The wood pencils can only get me so much detail, but man, do these mechanical pencils rock on Bristol. So I'm gonna get this cropped and then share it with you guys before I run outside, let the dogs out, and take my little break real quick.
Yeah, like I'm probably gonna have to bounce to it anyway, so I don't know how much longer you were gonna keep going, but
I'm going for a few hours until I finish probably. But yeah, just thanks for showing up and helping me move along. That's awesome.
For real. Yeah, because I told my kid and my wife that I'd be up here for about an hour, and I'm probably gonna go down there, and she's like, "You were up there for an hour and 15 minutes."
We were talking about you, honey.
We love the ball. Yeah, no, I was just telling Amanda. She mentioned my shirts, and I was like, so I got these on Amazon, these turtle shirts, but they for weird reason, and I don't know if it's because they were like, boys won't buy purple, so they never made a Donatello one. And and I'd have worn it proud, but like, there's no Donatello one, and each one I got orange, red, blue, and each turtle's on it. And it's Ninja Turtle. It's got the classic like Turtles logo from the cartoon from the 80s, but I cannot find the Donatello one.
That's ridiculous. And they say we're the ones that are phobic. You guys have color triggers.
That's right. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is, it's the people trying to make money. We're like, wow, we're never going to make money off a purple one. I'm like, I would buy it in a heartbeat. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's like I only got the 3. I wish I had the Donatello one.
I liked Donatello for the longest time, but then it was all Leo from there.
See, that's a good point. And I was going to ask you that. It's like, so for me, throughout my entire life, I have been able to relate to the turtles. And that's probably why I still like them to this day, as much as I do. So this isn't even like a nostalgia thing. Like the He-Man stuff is a nostalgia thing. And it's because my kid now is into He-Man. So we play with the toys together, and that's fun. And we watch the show together. But like, it was always a nostalgia thing for me. But turtles, like I made pizza last night in my kitchen for my family, and I put Turtles on in the kitchen just so I could watch Turtles while I was making pizza, like the 90s cartoon or the 90s movie. And then like my kid and I, we watch the cartoon all the time. Like I wear the merch, like I got the stuff. Like, so I love Turtles. And I think it's because throughout my entire life, I was able to connect and relate to each of the turtles at different stages in my life.
Yeah, I have a little brother that I grew up with, and we really attached to that. Like me and Dwight grew up in different households, so that's what's also cool about me and him working together now is we're back like tight like brothers. Give me a second to switch over to this mobile. Oh, and guys, check it out. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Hold on, that's not the right one. No, that's the right one. That's the one I'm doing now. Okay. I probably need to work on my focus on my camera. But yeah, you can see more details popping in. I'm getting the crotchal area worked out. Some other areas.
Yeah. No, that's super, man.
Yeah. We're getting it done.
Yeah. No, yeah. Beautiful art. Always.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yeah. No, it's great too. Like just seeing this is because like most people see Backend, right? And then they go, you know, whether it's for them or not for them, then they're like, oh, this is how he draws. Nah, you know, you got some awesome talent. So it's nice to see the other stuff.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Now, I mean, I love the other stuff too, but I'm just saying like maybe it's not for everybody because like, and I always say all the time, like not every book is for every person.
Right. And I'm totally aware of that in being an artist or anything. Is just certain people like certain stuff, and not everybody's going to, you know, like the same stuff. Let me get rid of that.
Yeah. No, I was like, well, I dig it. Obviously, I like that stuff. I like your art. And like I said, one day I am going to commission you to do my thing. So,
heck yeah, it'd be awesome.
Really looking forward to that. Yeah. No, because like the few times that I've showed people like my rough character design, like I've had artists just start drawing it on their own. Like Boob Dan actually drew my character, and then like he's just sitting in this pile of drawings that he's just doodled up and stuff. Just
Heck yeah.
so it's like, yeah.
Like that's what's fun being an artist. If you're talking to a guy, I talked to Neff while he was explaining to me some of his Maverick stuff, and I draw while I have that conversation. Yeah, it's again kind of how I'm taking notes. You know, I'll do a quick rough out based on words.
I never thought of it that way. Taking notes.
Yeah. And then I'll reference that later when I'm actually rendering the real thing. Okay. But it's never supposed to come off as a rude or anything.
No, I never took it that way either. It's just like as I'm talking, explaining to like, you know, and just hanging out in back rooms, like, you know, whatever, and then like, people are like, oh, it's so cool, and then they start doing it. And for me, it's a wild concept because now it's gone from like an idea in my brain that maybe I'll do one day, maybe I won't.
Just something
now
someone
people
else
are wanting
did.
to draw it, so I'm like, I really should move forward with it. So.
Oh yeah, I think that's the coolest thing too is when your creations start to come out of other people like that. It's neat.
So I've already have my sights on a cover, and I would love to have you commission you to do that cover.
Traditional or digital?
I would prefer traditional because I'd like to own it. So I would pay the extra to own it. That's where I'm at in life.
Sweet.
Yeah. I mean, I can appreciate the digital all day long, and if that's how we're gonna go, like that's how we're gonna go. But you don't know. So I'm like, I will pay the extra for traditional.
I like my traditionals because they're faster.
Yeah, well, I like them. Well, I like them because you can own them, and so like I always tell people, like you're leaving money on the table if you don't somehow, some kind of fashion, have original art if you're running sell. Now, if I commissioned you for a cover, I'm never selling it. Like that's where I'm at. Like this is my thing. This is the first thing. But I tell people all the time. I said you're just leaving money on the table. You know? And
that's what people told me on BECKONED was like, dude, you don't have any original art to sell on it, so it's really hard to get numbers up. You know, and it's like, well, yeah, it is my first campaign though, and I'm just that's where I'm kind of staying at. My first campaign, I just want it good and done right, not too overcomplicated for me to fulfill. Get it to you guys before that date, and then got it under my belt.
Oh, for real. And then like the idea for the next campaign, I tell people all the time, and obviously you put some dope things on there and you're already sold out of some stuff. That's awesome. But like merch now, like I'm looking forward to getting the book in hand, reading it, loving it, and then on the next campaign, or even not even the next campaign, whatever you could do. Like if you have a website and you just start throwing stuff on, like they do those not Teespring, because Teespring I guess is the lower end one, but there's like a Printful and one other one. I guess they're better to do stuff on, but you can just put up your designs and you have the link on your website, but then it takes us to your store on there, and I buy it. They send it to me. It's very, very minimal amount of work on your part, and you're advertising now.
Yeah, there's all kinds of ideas coming up that people are offering, and that I'm thinking about what happens post campaign or post in demand, and I'm excited to be there. Like I haven't made any decisions yet, but
I'm telling you, if you do a hoodie, I'm getting it. Like I'm telling you, customer for life. Like you really have to screw me over on the story, and even then, like then I'm not going to tell. I mean, I'd tell you offline, but I'm not going to tell everybody publicly. There was a book that I read, and then the people asked me for the feedback, right? And I gave my feedback, and I told them I wasn't a big fan, blah blah blah. And then, but then they hit me back, and they were like, "Well, why?" And I laid it out. I said, I don't think it's fair to do this in text. I said, I'd rather do it in the back room, but here is this. And I said, I can go on and on, but there's this. And they actually took it, and they had said, thank you for the well thought out response. We'll take that. And then they actually took my information and bounced it off their friends and stuff. And then they had come back and said that basically their friends said the same thing I had said. But at first, and that was dope on their part, because they didn't take it and ball up their feelings, because they attached their feelings to the book. It wasn't an attack on them. It was an attack. It wasn't even an attack. It was, you asked my opinion, and there's this. And now from just that experience, I'm going to check out the second book. Before we had that interaction, I was probably just going to pass on the second book because I didn't like the first book, right? And so like now if they put out a second book and they take that criticism and they change it and they do better, I would be really interested in that. So like, so not saying that you'd have to really screw me over on the story.
No.
I mean, there is a way around that because I really do like the characters. I like what you got going on here. But yeah, it would be nearly impossible to say that I'm not a Beckon for life guy.
Sick. And I'm glad because this is a long journey and we're right at the start and it's all planned out. I know where it's going and I have writing freedoms in between those points too, to have a little fun, to get a little input, maybe some ideas from the community. Hey, we'd like to see this happen. Okay, let's see if we could sneak that in there somewhere.
Gotcha.
You know, but at the same, you know, that's what's cool about this group is, yeah, if people don't ball up their feelings and remember there's a job to be done and everyone here, there's a big kaleidoscope of some that are pros and have been doing it. There's some that are doing it for the first time. There's some like me who've been doing their art for a long time and doing this for the first time. And that's got to be the same for some other aspects like musicians or critics or, you know, editors or anything. We're all on this spectrum of experience and we're all here to do better. Like, and not that we're bad. It's just even the good ones can get better. Heck, the good ones are being hired by the big movie industries and we don't like any of the crap coming out.
Right. No, that's very, very true.
So,
and
guess what? They hire tons of editors, just about every process or stage of the way.
100%. Yeah. If you're afraid of an editor, man, I said, you better just stop doing everything right now and go work at McDonald's. Like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. And everyone's going to have their own opinion too. But there is a consensus. And so like, one of the things I've hated about modern movies is it's definitely put down by committee. And so there's too many cooks in the kitchen. We've had that conversation. Like you see it all day long. But when it comes to like these books and stuff, you obviously don't want too many cooks in the kitchen, but you want enough to make sure that, because you're never going to please everybody. No matter what you do, there's going to be somebody that hates you or hates your book or whatever the fuck you're doing. There's going to be somebody, that one weirdo, right? And for whatever reason, it could be something stupid. Like you didn't say hi to them in the chat, so they instantly hate your book. Like it's a weird concept. No, I'm serious. I've experienced
it's true. I know.
Yeah. So like, there's that conversation, but then like, you know, if the majority of people are on board with it and not just your close friends and stuff, like somebody that's actually going to be willing to be honest with you, then you got some gold, right? And then just keep doing that. Like that's the thing, you know. Because I was like, we can all talk about some of our favorite comic books from like the 80s and 90s, and no point are we going to have the exact same list. We might have some books on the same list, we might have some opinions, but then your opinion on art or story might be a little different than mine. You know? And mainstream books that everyone knows.
And it could be great for a creator to hear those different perspectives or different awarenesses or different styles of writing. Like, I don't know what the conventions are for comic writing because, you know, I've got most of the stacks of comics I got are your all's books, RCG books. And I don't mean to clump everyone together, but it's these indie books. That's what I've got on my shelf. And I've heard some of them are good writing. Some of them are shaky writing. I've heard some of them are this. I haven't read a lot of them, but the ones I have read, I'm impressed and with, you know, excited about the experimentation sometimes. Like what Bancroft did with the Lucent is really heady. You know, it's a really heady book. You know, and it makes you think. Yeah. And I miss stories that make you think. I don't want it shoveled to me. I don't want it in the simplest language, because then you get the critique of oh well, it sounded too simple, or it was written for a younger audience. And you know what? My book is made for a teen audience, so there is no cussing, there isn't any nipples on anything.
That's great, because I'm raising my kid.
Yeah. Now there is a little blood, but
we watch Predator together.
Yeah, it's not like decapitations or anything, but
she's seen that. We watched that too. We watched Prey. There was a decapitation in that. But she's fine on that. It's just like, as long as there's no foul like horrible language and sex. Like, as long as there's sex, I'm fine, whatever. Because like, I want her to read comics. Like, I want her in this world. And she's 6, so like, learning to read, this is the way to go. And so like, I was getting the book anyway, but I'm like, I'm glad that it's all ages.
I liked Starlight Cats. Like,
I did too.
And I gave that to my niece. I was like, here you go. Heck yeah. And it's a cool story about, be brave, stand up to the bullies. I had to stand up to bullies, man. That stuff sucks.
See, I was the bully. See where we are when we're old. Like, we're friends now. I was like, I was the bully when I was a kid.
That's awesome. And now you know better, right?
Yeah. Well, not so much.
Not so much. You're still the bully.
I don't think you ever see me on a Friday or Saturday stream. A few sips of whiskey, and then I yell at everybody. So.
Well, you got to gesticulate sometimes.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I can't not be me. But no, we're having fun while we do this. And there was a point to that earlier though. Your influences come from a whole bunch of different backgrounds. So you had made a comment how like you got all these comics, but they're mostly CG books or all CG books, and that's where you're at in life. But your influences come from the books you read and that type of stuff. So there are people that might come in with like, and however they come in. So like they're like, I think I can make a bunch of money because everybody else made a bunch of money. I'm gonna make a comic book. I could do this. If they could do it, I could do it. There's that attitude. There's people like, you said you've been working on this for a bunch of years. I know Chris Fisk, like his original core idea for his story, Infinity Tales, like he was working on it in the 90s.
Yeah.
So like that's such a, I mean, it's dope, right? And like so there's those aspects of it. But when somebody's writing a book and they're writing something, like I feel that obviously they're going to pull in their influences no matter what. But if you try to read stuff that's generally not in your wheelhouse, not per se because that's what you're going to try to put it in your book, but if you're only exposed to the things that you absolutely love, that's all that's ever going to come out. So if you're trying to write a fantasy adventure story, then no matter what, at the core of it, it's going to look like Lord of the Rings, Willow, Goonies, like it's going to be that same stuff. But if you're now reading some weird sci-fi thing, but at its core, it's still an adventure story. But now it's a sci-fi, it's a different genre, it's a different things.
That's cool you bring that up because my Beckoned is a very high fantasy appearance and all that. But if you listen to me explain like the other like not movie inspirations, it's quantum physics, it's theoretical cosmology.
You were trying to explain some of that, and I was just like, whoa.
So there's a element of this being like sci-fi in a sense as well, but I don't know how much fiction it is because I'm trying to trick your brain into accepting a lot of this, world building and going, dude, that could work, dude, that could work, dude, that could work. Because the more that I get the dude that can work attitude when you're reading it, I've got you in the fantasy now, and now I can do some really cool stuff with the writing that I couldn't if you just looked at it and said, nah, crystals don't work like that. Well, no, not on planet Earth. No.
I'm in. You sold me. Like that's, I'm like, oh wow, that's awesome. Because it's not these things that I grew up loving, right? I did not grow up loving quantum physics. The closest I ever got was I watched Quantum Leap as a kid. The closest I've ever gotten, right? So all that other stuff is 100% in my wheelhouse, but this quantum physics stuff is not. But I'm excited.
And I'm not. That's the other thing. My story, you don't have to understand that stuff to appreciate it. Like I'm not trying to teach you this stuff. I'm trying to make a fantasy that suspends your disbelief, meaning that even if you listen to a lecture or a video later, it's like, ooh, CERN opened up a portal, and you listen to them, you start thinking, wait a minute, was Beckon kind of on some slant here, or some slant with this, the Nobel Peace Prize that just got given out with the particle entanglement and stuff. It's like, dude, that's what Beckon was talking about with the harmonics and the crystals and stuff. And it's like, okay, well, there's something else here. He's not just crystals because crystals are fantasy. Why did I choose crystals if I want to be original? My favorite video game series has conquered crystals already.
No, and I wanted to pick your brain. Not public. I wanted to actually pick your brain on some stuff for the outline of the thing that I'm working on, because most people I've talked to, like that, I get that it sounds really cool, or this isn't something I would have bought anyway. So you get those feelings when you're talking to people, but I don't get the normal feedback of like, change this or this is janky. So I tell my wife yesterday, I'm like, I laid out the whole outline of the thing I'm working on, and then there's like her only gripe, and she doesn't like this stuff. Like that's So I said to her, I was like, if this was a movie or TV show, would you watch it? And she was like, yeah, probably. And so I was like, all right, cool. And then, but then her two nitpicks, there was just what I called something, and I wasn't 100% sold on the other one.
Right.
So I used it as a placeholder. So I'm calling these things this thing right now. It's a placeholder. I'm not married to it, but I want to change it. But the one thing that she's like, I hate it. I'm like, that's the one thing I actually liked.
Yeah.
So, but like, here's the thing:
that's what happens to an editor sometimes too.
Right.
Like, they're gonna pick out that one thing that you were really interested in.
Shoehorned in there, calling my thing. Like, it's, yeah. It's wild. And so, like, her being a normie with all this stuff, and her going, this doesn't sound right. That's great feedback, and I really enjoy that. But now I want to look for that feedback from somebody that's in this world.
Right. And the same thing. At the same point, when you get the same thing from an editor and stuff, it's like, okay, well, what that would show me is that it did matter a lot to you to put so much, I guess, care to try to get it in there. And even though it's probably not in its best form, you still try to put it in there. So I would look at, if it's not working with an editor or with someone else's, kind of start thinking, how can it work? And that's the other thing I kind of don't like about critics and critiques. They're two different type of things. And it's not a critic's job or a critique's job to tell me how to do my job. Right. But I need that sometimes. I need them to tell me, hey, this isn't working, but we appreciate you're trying to do it. Maybe you could do it this way. Like, don't totally throw it out. Obviously, I care about it. It means a lot. Can we not just kind of think of a way that this can work better? And the first thing is to identify the problem. So you have to identify the problems and what it is, and then see if you can twist them, work them, or take those problems out, or simplify it to get something that's a little bit more mainstream, easier to understand, and you're still able to keep your idea in there. And maybe I haven't worked with editors or critics enough to really know that that's even possible. So I'm just putting that out there in the world right now.
Well, it is. It really is. But then here's the other aspect of it. So like just that thing, like you said, it's perfect. Like, so, and like my wife, who doesn't know this, she's like, I don't like this one thing. That's fine. It's just something I'm calling this item. I'm calling it, I have a name for it. But again, like I said, originally it was a placeholder, but I kind of like that one. And then the other placeholders I have, she's on board with it. And then, so I'm like, all right, cool. All right. So now let's talk to somebody who's in this world to then figure out, like, is she just looking at it one way, that's her own opinion, or is it cool to change it? Like, and if it's cool to change it, like, how do we change it? How do we make this thing, put it in the same world and not make it seem foreign? And there's that aspect of it. So it's always like willing to learn to do better and like willing to take that advice. So this is somebody who doesn't read comics, who's like, this is my opinion. Now, if everyone else is like, no, that's dope, I'm like, okay, cool. That's just her opinion. She wasn't into it because she doesn't like comics. But at the end of the day, I want people that don't like comics to find my story.
I mean, of course. If it's a
turnoff or it's not appealing or not, that to the people that don't love comics, then realistically, then I failed, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
My biggest thing when I communicate with people sometimes is, especially when it gets tense, is I use comedy to kind of break up a little bit of the
24
aggression.
Eyes.
Huh?
Oh, 24 Eyes popped in. I was saying, hey,
what's up, 24 Eyes? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have a habit of, when someone else is kind of like getting heated about it, and I kind of use levity, it could come off as rude. I'm like, wait a minute. I wasn't
in your story or like in personal conversation?
No, just in personal conversation about
I mean, I get what you're saying. No,
like you got to know when to turn off the personality to get the work done. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. No, and that's a different thing of like actually trying to reach out and trying to do better, as opposed to just wanting that feedback. Because like I don't know if you like how much how big of a Star Wars fan you are, if you've ever seen that.
I have a theory of how it should have ended and how Rey should have been Shmi in episode 1. That was the mother of Anakin, and therefore trapping the Skywalkers in a time loop, ultimately winning, and allows Disney to move off the Skywalker saga. But I thought
that would be really dope. Cool. Yeah, no, and a lot of people have theories on that. No, you're not wrong there. I said I'm a big fan. What you have there sounds great. I actually never seen the last Star Wars one, the last Disney one. I've
saw
never
a little bit.
Huh?
Yeah. I saw a little bit. I didn't see it all.
Yeah,
it was when she stood on the cliff and found the other like mountain face with the daggers. Like, okay, so she had to be standing in the right spot.
Yeah.
At the right clarity of weather and all. Like, it's just come on. I play RPGs where fetch quests are better than this.
Right. No, it's crazy. And so, like, what was it? Crazy Mad and Steve Worcester, they're always trying to get me to watch the rest of these. So we were hanging out in back rooms watching the other Star Wars movies, and now it's come to the Disney ones, and like I've kind of been dodging them.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you want to watch Star Wars? And then I conveniently fall asleep.
I like the Darth Jar Jar theory.
I do too. But I'm a big fan. Steve told me I was wrong, but I'm a big fan. Yeah. I'm a big fan of the Darth Jar Jar theory. I've seen the videos on it. It almost makes sense. I'm in. I would really be into that. But no, but I guess my point of like the asking the Star Wars thing is like, so for episode 1 when he was making that, there's an actual video. He recorded himself watching it. And at the end of it, and this is on YouTube now, at the end of it, he tears his hair and he like goes to the side and he's just like, oh, like frustrated at what he did. And then he said something like along the lines of like, well, we're here where we are. And that's because every single person around him was like, yes, George, that's great. And nobody gave him correction along the way.
Yeah.
And they're like, yep, George is God. George is going to make us a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. George has got the thing. And so they give him all the stuff, which is fine, but not a single person. And even when he did the original trilogy, he had his wife at the time. So she, and a lot of people don't know this, but she's the one who edited those original 3 films after. And there's a documentary I watched that there were multiple editors. There were multiple people trying to edit this and nobody could do it. She did it. And then all of a sudden the movie had heart.
Yeah.
So like that's why those original trilogy movies hold up to this day, to the point where my 6-year-old has been watching these movies since she was 2 on her own. She has a VCR in her room and she grabs the tapes on her own, and she's been watching Star Wars on, like, I'm saying multiple times a week now. It used to be daily, but now it's multiple times a week. She watches Star Wars. She's a huge fan, and she even watches the prequels. But the new stuff, she's always had access to it because I had got the first one, The Force Awakens, and I had the digital copy. So she could always watch it on iTunes because she sees Star Wars. And then she walks away, she leaves it. She's bored. Like, those other movies suck her in, and there's a reason for that. Now, with what you have is with that first Phantom Menace there, you have George tearing his hair out, and that video's online now saying we're here where we are. And then afterwards, that video continues to then him kind of justifying it. Yeah. And it never got better because the money's already spent, right?
Yeah.
So no matter what, I want a better book. And so my feelings aren't so wrapped up to know that this one thing that I like, the placeholder name that I'm calling this thing, I like that. To then, if it doesn't work or it's stupid, it's derivative, then like, let's change it. Let's make it better. Let's do better. And like, sure. Like, people do like the original or the prequel trilogy because a lot of times they were kids when they first saw it and they catch themselves to Anakin, and there's that. But there are people that don't like it, and there's people that are thinking are okay. But could you imagine the pod race thing? I mean, who didn't want to be a pod racer? I was an older teenager when that movie came out, and I wanted to race a pod. I just thought the scene was too long. But then you have the at the core of it. Could you imagine the prequel trilogy if they had the same kind of heart that the original trilogy had, and people told George, hey, that's dumb, or that's, let's chop this. Like, just a simple, like, let's chop this, never happened. Could you imagine? Those movies would be considered the best 6 films of all time.
Did you play Fallen Order, the video game?
Yeah.
I enjoyed the hell out of that. And maybe it's just me, but I really liked a lot of the level design and aesthetic design that they had. Because
Are we talking about the new one? Is this the new one with the red-haired kid?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I have. Yeah, I played that one, and then Battlefront. We played Battlefront.
Right.
Yeah, so Fallen Order, we have that. I never beat it, but I enjoyed it.
I loved the aesthetic. I was a big Dark Forces player, and then Shadow of the Empire player. Back in the day. Let's see, I've got the wrong screen up here. Whoops, guys, my bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was big into Dark Forces, like launching it on the MS-DOS, Dark Forces 2, and like I love the Kyle Katarn, storyline and stuff. So I was like, oh, there's a guy named Kyle in this. Oh, we're going. Oh, it's this kid from Shameless. Okay. All right.
Yeah, and so at first, to me, that was a turnoff. And I just had this conversation the other day about these modern movies with the voice acting. Like they don't have the voice actors like they used to. So they're putting in celebrities in, and they're not changing their voice. So like in the Mario movie, Chris Pratt is Mario, right? He didn't change his voice. Jack Black is the only one that did an okay job, but he's got that thing.
Yeah, because you can't do the bring back a poo situation. You can't do the Simpsons Apu situation.
Yeah, it can't be offensive. We're too afraid to do that. So we don't hire these voice actors who literally do this for a living and would kill it. They would make this thing from being like a 7 or 8 to like a 10 or 9.5. Like think of when we were kids. Like the majority of those cartoon voice actors, they have like hundreds of credits to their name, and they've done anything and everything, and you would never know it's the same person twice. Yet Chris Pratt goes up there, he doesn't change his voice, he's Mario, it's Chris Pratt. You're like, oh, why is the Jurassic World dude, or why is the dude from the Office my Mario? Like that's just kind of weird. And it's and then they pay these dudes a ton of money. Like like
Harrison Ford's story about getting hired on the set because he was a carpenter on the set. He wasn't an actor, They were getting
the actor back then. Like that was the whole thing.
You ever hear casting no-name actors, and that helped you dive into the fantasy more because, like you're saying, you didn't get it confused with Jurassic World as Mario's situation. And that elevated Mark Hamill to do the Joker voice acting, which is amazing. I'm telling you, when the clown community decides to start marching down the street and get mad at Mark Hamill because he did a voice clown and wasn't a clown himself, I'm done.
yeah, you're right. Now here's the thing about that, right? So Mark Hamill did that voice, and that Joker voice is amazing, but he's done voice acting since where it's not Joker, but it almost always sounds like Joker. Like because he does that because he's basically a one-trick pony. He's figured out this thing, and he does a great Joker, and I love the animated series. But these other actors, they're just not getting the work. I mean, I've seen YouTube voice actors that are more talented than what we're getting, and so that's different than everything else. So it's the voice acting is there, but it's the same thing. It all falls flat,
Yeah. Well, this is where we're at.
That's right. Yeah, you're like
quote Lucas. This is where we're at.
Nah, for real, it really is. But like, that's why I'm always looking for better. Like, how are we going to do better? Because I was like, if I wouldn't have bought this as a kid, I'm not going to buy it when I'm 40.
Well, we indulge things differently when we were younger.
We do. We do.
And now that we're adults and we have responsibilities, even our writing is probably not as fun or imaginative as if we were kids and had the writing skills. Our brains just think of things a bit differently and are more open a bit differently. Like I had more fun playing games when I was a kid than I do now because now I make them. And so now I play games and the work part of my head can't indulge the story as much because I'm looking at it and going, oh, we could do that, or we could do this, or looking at the popsicle sticks and scotch tape. And it's like, I didn't get the game to do work. You know, and I would hope people don't get beckoned to rip it apart. And if you do, cool, let me know, or don't let me know if you, you know.
Well, that's not going to be my intention.
That's also just art. When you put something out in the world like that, that's what's expected. So, you know, I got over that a long time ago.
No, and you have to realize, like, you can have a phenomenal product, and somebody's still going to rip it apart.
Right,
and then
right.
You have to go, are they really ripping this apart, or are they jealous, or they, you know, or they got some issue? Did I not say hi to them in the chat? Like, you know, there's sometimes there's reasons, right?
Yeah.
So
that
if you don't surround
know,
yourself,
right.
What was that?
That you're not aware of. There's reasons that you're not aware.
Right. There's always a thing, but like, so if you don't surround yourself if you surround yourself by yes men, when you get, you know, people tearing you apart later on, it's probably legitimate.
Yeah.
But if you get one random dude that's just like, you know, F this dude, F this book, you're like, oh, I probably screwed him over something. He don't like me for whatever reason. You can accept that. But if that's in a normal situation, but somehow here in CG, I think people are afraid. And one of the conversations that I've had a few times with people on my show is well, I'm making a book and I want them to back my book. And I think D-Wag touched on it yesterday. It's the same thing. I think that's a poor mentality. Buy the book that you would buy if you were a kid. Buy the book that you'd go to the comic book store and buy. Like, if you want to support the dude, like, that's why there's the tip thing, or there's the, like, people have that buy them a beer stuff or whatever. There's ways to support because you like the creator. But if you're buying that book because you expect them to buy your book, that's backwards thinking.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like it's no different than you going, oh, it's my birthday and I give you $50, and then tomorrow it's my birthday and you give me that $50 back. That's what it is. Yeah. You're just trading the same $50. Like, that's some bullshit. So it's not real. So you can't quantify that of like, these are my sales numbers. No, those aren't real sales numbers. That dude backed your book because he wants you to back his book. So it's just trading the money.
Right.
I was like, you can't have that aspect.
I backed a ton of these books so I could read them and get into them. And when I started reading them, I'm like, I kind of, when I start creating things, I don't like to absorb other media. I really don't, because the stealing the joke situation or the like thing,
no, for real,
it happens, and it happens without you even being aware that it happened. So I literally block myself out of media when I'm creating stuff. So I control what I listen to, and it's totally different than what I'm working on. Like, I watch Alf and Boy Meets World, like, to pass time, and shows like that to pass time. It has nothing to do with any of this stuff while I'm creating, so I don't input something that's not
so
mine.
If your character starts eating cats, well, no. He was watching Alf while he was making this.
Yeah,
right.
Good point.
Yeah,
but monkeys eating cats, that'd be fun.
Right. I'm in. You actually sold me extra now. That's yeah. So no, and that's actually a reality of, like, like you said, specifically stealing the joke. Like, it's so easy, and it's so there. And I back these books because I want to read. Now, I have gotten caught up in the, like, going on a Bancroft stream and everyone's backing books and it's like a launch day and I'm like, oh my god,
it's fun.
Because I have this book here that I probably would have never backed. And I'm actually looking forward to reading it. Like, it's not a big deal. And then I flip through it. The art isn't like my thing. It's like it's not saying it's bad art. Just flipping through it, I'm like, if I saw this on the store shelf in the comic book store when I was 13, I'd have never picked it up. But I have it now. But it looks fun. That's where it is. Like, they always say, don't judge a book by its cover. I always have, but now that I have this, and more than likely it was because I was on a Bancroft stream and I was just super excited about backing books. But then there's books that I backed that I completely regret because it was trying to help that dude get, cross that finish line of, like, getting that book funded so that they can actually make their dream. And then I've come to the realization of maybe not every dream should happen. Yeah, because I get the book and it's garbage. So did they really put all their effort into it? Did they show up here thinking they were going to make a bunch of money and then this is where we are? Like, what is this? And then you start talking to them, and this isn't a lifelong dream. This isn't like an idea they've had for a long time. This is something they pulled out of thin air. They tried to hurry up and make this thing, and this is what we have. And so, like, I wasn't helping anybody by trying to help them get funded because I felt bad for them. I really didn't believe in the project ahead of time. So now I've moved on from, and I backed a lot of books. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to back books in the future, but I've moved on to the twofold. I have to 100% believe in your project for me to really back it. But then you got to sell me the project. Like, and I'm not saying you have to come to my show and you have to actually, you know, be part of that for me to want to back your project. I just have to see you. I have to see you on other shows, and I watch a lot of shows. The only reason I'm here right now is because I was watching your show. You know, so I was just like, hey man, I'll hang out. But you know, I watch a lot of shows, and so like if I don't see these people around, and in some way, shape, or form, they're not selling me on their book,
right?
It's not for me.
And I got worried because the first week of my launch, I had a really weak pitch, and from the beginning, I know how important pitches are. You know,
for real.
Like I knew it, but I'd been talking about it for so long, and I'm pretty good at ad-libbing. But no, don't do that with this, and you'll turn into talking 30 minutes about, you know, harmonics and crystals, and people still going, well, what's the story about? So
and see, I'm rude. I got the thing of like where I'm like, all right, I'm bored.
Yeah,
like, I'll tell you, if you were on my show and you're going into some like shit that I don't understand,
right?
I would tell you, let's move on, or we'll just stop talking about your book altogether, and I'll move on to something I think is fun. You know, if you don't want to hang out, you don't have to hang out. Like that's where I'm at in life.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah, your pitch has to be there, but some point that somehow you have to sell me on the book. So maybe you're not perfect. Maybe you're not perfect at talking and stuff, but yeah, put some thought into it. If you're telling me that you put thought and effort into building this entire world, and you're trying to tell me that you're not here to make a quick buck, which I hope you're not. Like, I'm not saying you in general. Obviously, I'm saying generally anybody that's making.
Damn it, he's on to me.
Yeah, he figured it out. He's like 2 years of doing YouTube channels, like 2 years of like drawing this book. I'm here to make the fastest buck I can in 2 years.
Right. Yeah, well, I am blonde. Don't put it past me.
There you go. But no, so like there's the thing. Oh, hey, Aardvark, thanks for coming in. And
up,
Jay
Aardvark?
Ryan, appreciate you, brother.
What's up, Jay Ryan?
Yeah.
Dude, he was putting out some cool stuff in his
is.
warm-ups, dude.
His warm-ups are dope as hell, but I was also talking about his YouTube channel. Like he's doing something a little different. I like it because not everybody in this space is actually here because of comics. Like it's a weird concept to understand. You know, there's people that showed up here that just don't regularly read comics, but then they back these books to, I don't know if it's to be part of the community or they're really into these creators or the content that we put out on these shows. But Jay's talking about comics like on a daily basis or whenever he puts his videos out. So it's dope.
Heck yeah.
I
mean, always do what you love. I mean, if you're in here to make a big buck, I mean, if you're a business guy, go for it. Try it out. It's not my job to gatekeep this with, you know, like by saying, hey, don't do this. But you're gonna get a response, you know, from people if they sniff you out. In this group, we sniff out pretty quick.
Oh yeah, for real.
You know, and that was the other thing, like, to be honest, my nerves have gotten the best of me a few times already during this because it's nerve-wracking to want to get it right. And there's not a real right way to do it except be genuine and treat your customers right. And that's about the final basis of it, in my opinion. Like, that's what I've been seeing is like, just be real, be you, and don't try to do anything dirty.
No, you're not wrong. And like that's the thing is I tell people all the time, just be genuine. So like It's not even a shtick. It really is me. But obviously, like we go live and I amp it up a little bit. But like I'm miserable. I hate everything. So if I don't hate something, then that's like a thumbs up from me. And so like, but it's genuine because I truly do. Like I hate all the modern stuff. Like I'm stuck back in the '80s. That's why I call myself a made consumer. I was born in the '80s. That stuff was dope as hell. I still think it is. And then very rarely is there something new where I'm like, all right, I'm in. Like even stuff I've given a chance to, I end up like not liking it or whatever. So
they made a Christmas Story too.
Right.
Why?
Right. Oh my God, I hated it. So now here's the trick. So did you know that's not the first Christmas Story 2?
No, I didn't know.
All right, so there's the Christmas Story, which we all love, and I love this back in the '90s. I had a study hall with a Spanish teacher, and the Spanish teacher would play every study hall. He would just turn on the TV, and he would have that playing like every day during study hall. And then like the first time I ever saw a Christmas Story is he would play it then. So like I spent an entire week trying to catch it because like obviously you only have like study halls like 30 minutes, 40 minutes or whatever it is. So I'm watching part of it every single day for a week leading up to Christmas. And I'm like, I love this movie. So I'm like, well, that's where I'm at with Christmas Story. And I watch it every year. My wife is not a big fan, but I love this movie. And so then I find out they do 2 sequels. One's called A Summer Story, which is not that great. And one's called A Christmas Story 2 with Daniel Stern and a bunch of other people. But at the core of it, this sequel that they made with Daniel Stern, even though it's not great, captured more of that original film than this new one did.
Oh, well.
And so this new one, did you watch it?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I haven't seen either of those. I've seen the original,
Right, the original for me is great. Right, and so the Summer Story, it's whatever, but they used, I think they used the same original house and they used the same thing, but they just change all the actors and it's a whatever thing. But then, and I didn't even know that it was a sequel until like I clicked it on one day. I was, what is this? Summer Story, and it didn't dawn on me. It was just a play on a Christmas story. Like it didn't, and then they started doing it, and they're talking about the Bumpuses, and I'm like, oh God. And then, but then the Christmas Story too, I had seen that, and the way they did the narration and the way they set up the film, at the core of it, it really felt more in tune and more in line with that original Christmas Story. Now this new one that they had with the original actor and the mom, because obviously the guy who played the dad, he passed away I think 2006 or whatever, so he wasn't in it, but like the lady that played the mom, she's in it. A lot of the kids that were in the original movie, they're in this now, all grown up. So like that stuff is really cool. But
Farkas is Farkas in it?
Yeah, he is. No. He's in it. Yep. But then like it's very predictable, it's very mediocre, very, very, very tame. I don't recall any real woke stuff. But I also like tuned out. Like I put it on and then I ended up like cooking dinner and like I was watching, listening, but also a little preoccupied. But so when I left it, it was mediocre. It was fine. Did it need to be made? No. Did it crap on the other original one? Maybe a little because it showed up, but it's not the worst thing in the world, but I'll never watch it again. Not a fan.
Well, yeah, see, like I said, I don't watch, I shut myself out. I see the articles about when something comes out. Is it good? Is it not? I hear the complaints on both sides, but I don't ever really get into it.
If you tune into my brand of review, just know that I hate it all. But at the point, I can tell you why. That's where it is. And like, so most people will go in and you'll see it where if it's not heavy with the woke hammer, then they go, oh yeah, it was pretty good. Well, because it wasn't cramming a message down your throat when you really look at it, mediocre. This is not good. It's just, it's not the garbage we've been getting. So now you're accepting mediocrity and then you're saying it's good. So now you've created a thing where people are like, oh, this is good. And now you have the next generation that's going to see these movies that you say are good because they're not woke and they're not full of nonsense. That's the inspiration for the next generation. So now you've given mediocrity a pass for the next generation to create new stuff. So now they're going to create new stuff based on mediocrity. That's the worst thing in the world.
Yep. And it's, it's a two worlds that almost don't touch too. Like a newer generation doesn't really get what the older ones were all about. I mean, because it's a newer generation. They don't know what we were feeling back then, you know, or, you know, what we've seen happen. But, I mean, you could YouTube it all you want to. Oh, the United States in the 80s. Whoa. And it's just, that's not, you know, or like in the 90s. You know, I mean, there was a lot of angst in the 90s. That was grunge rock's fault, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, a lot of the younger kids think we're stupid for being that angsty about nothing back then. You know, but it was like, dude, that was just how you got through the hallways. Mm-hmm. You know? But I don't know. I love all that time, of course. I don't know if it's ever coming back, and that's okay, I guess.
I think it is. I think the pendulum's swinging backwards.
Yeah, for
back
sure.
This way, but then like the thing is, the people that are creating now, they're really creating, is us. And so you're creating with that love of the 90s. You're creating with that love of the stuff that you grew up with. And so what you're doing is we've created and we're carving out our own new punk. And it's very, very clear where now you look at the punk scene, that whole entire thing, that's the mainstream. Those are the ones that are telling you to listen to your doctors and, you know, do whatever the government says and blah, blah, blah.
Follow the rules.
Yeah, follow the rules. Yeah, the punk, when in your life did you ever think that was going to be the thing where like the punk kids, you know, the overweight loser with the blue mohawk is out there sitting out there saying, you know, follow the rules.
Insane.
It's wild. I said, because I remember in the 80s and 90s, those are the kids your mom told you to stay away from.
Yeah, like, those were the bullies.
Yeah. Well, I guess now I would tell my kids to stay away from those kids now for I guess the same reasons. But yeah, they were the bullies. Like, you remember The Wanderers?
Yeah.
It's such a good film, and that's the thing. Like, those are the people. That's what we are, man. We are the people that are just remembering good times and creating out of that. And when we're creating out of that, we're creating new fans.
Yes.
So there's people that show up every day. I've had people not walk in, but show up to my chat, not knowing what CG is, and back 3 books that day. So
that's cool.
And then they're like, I've never done this before, blah, blah, blah. This is cool. And then they're, you know, I don't know if they're like shocked that, you know, it takes a little while to get to you or like whatever's going on. But like that, there's a whole thing of coming into CG and going through like some of the bigger guys that stream and stuff, and then getting how this works and everything. And then people that just show up and see us. And then it's their first introduction to it. And how is it? It's because somehow or other, what we're talking about resonates with them. What you're drawing is dope as hell. Like, you know, something is going to click with these people. And just the idea that we're the new punk is wild.
Yeah, I know, because a lot of us are really nice guys too. Like, I couldn't imagine a lot of the guys I met here in the punk scene in the 90s. I couldn't.
Right? No, there's no way I would. You would have ever seen me as like a punk dude, ever.
I was a little bit.
I'm not surprised. You got that artist mentality. So I mean, I dress like this, you know, because this is basically my off stuff. So I'm wearing like, you know, hoodies, and you know, I've got my long beard. I got out of the Navy and I grew my beard out, and like this one here, I've never shaven since I haven't shaven since December 7th, 2014 was the last day I ever shaved.
No Shave November, wasn't it? That's what started it.
What was that?
No Shave November. Was that what started it?
No, not for me. It was having to shave for every single day for 6 years. You know, that I said I'm never shaving again. I said, you know, I'm gonna have a beard. So I've had a full beard. This growth though, the last time I trimmed it down was about 8 months ago. So about the time I started my YouTube channel. So this isn't even a full year's worth of growth. But there's that. So, but before the Navy, I always dressed like that preppy style. Like I worked in retail. I had a very short beard.
I like girls that wear Abercrombie and Fitch.
Yeah, pretty much. I wore button-down shirts, khaki pants, and I would wear that in my free time. I mean, obviously, if I was home and I was trying to be comfortable, I'd probably throw on a shirt or some shorts or whatever. But if I'm out and about on my free time and I'm at a restaurant or whatever, I'm dressed nice. Yeah. That's where I was. So there's no way I was into that punk scene. Not that I hated it, but it wasn't for me. I was that preppy kid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that was actually born out of growing up poor. So I grew up poor. So once I could afford things, I dressed preppy because that was the lifestyle that I was living, and that was the money that I was making. I wasn't like super rich, but I was making more money than I had when I was a kid. I was making more money than my mom had when I was a kid.
It's
so
vicious, dude.
That's how I dressed.
Kids were vicious, like
for real.
Dude, if you weren't wearing the right clothes or the right sneakers and stuff, that puts you in a group. Not what you thought, not what you know. That would put you in a bad group. That's why I was pumped. You know, I was like, screw this. I'm gonna put spikes and chains on my clothes. Don't.
I believe that. And the thing is, I wouldn't have disliked you.
Thanks.
I wouldn't have disliked you, but I'm like, oh, that's that dude. He draws really cool shit.
Yeah. That did get me by a little bit. I was pretty much a social butterfly for the most part.
Well, see, if you're a social butterfly, it's different. So there's a lot of these artists I hang out with and talk with that they're introverts. So they would put their head down, they would draw, they do their thing, they wouldn't have conversation. And me, I've always been confrontational. I like problems always. Like that's been my shtick. And so it's never changed. And so that's who I am. I'll talk to you. I'll be the first person to go over and go, hey, what's up, buddy? You know, my name's so-and-so. Let's hang out. Like that's always been me.
Yeah, outgoing.
Yeah, for real. Jay Ryan says, I think a lot of us give back in a way that we can, that we were inspired. We want to create cool stuff that inspires others. Yeah, for real.
And here's
I don't know if you know Mo's in the chat. So I said hey to Mo, but I don't know if you caught that. Yeah.
Love Mo Big.
And Collision Bomb, thanks for being here.
Collision. The other thing is I have heard, like, so we got, you know, sometimes I like being an artist and then my art can help other people in just some way, right? Like, it's not every day that an artist who draws pretty pictures, in my experience, can really change someone's day pretty hard, you know, in my experience. I know it depends on the observer and stuff, but if it's not, I've got this opportunity where I'm doing something, you know, to help someone, and I feel happy that my art can help. There's even no prestigiousness in it for me. I'm doing it, putting it out there for him. That's just something I want to do, you know, and it's fun to do. And I have heard, like, in the past of other things that are kind of, you know, similar, is like, well, why is that different than, like, I guess, like, someone who can't draw art and get that immediate kickback? Like, okay, so why'd you do that for them if you know, this was happening to this other person over here? You know, you didn't do that over there. It's like, well, that person didn't know me. The person didn't, you know, talk to me or anything like that. And this other person, people know them, and they're like, they're incredible people. They're nice people. And so, yeah, it's cool to be like, to reward, you know, people who have that reputation around. It's cool when people ask other people about you behind your back and they go, that guy's cool, that guy's awesome, that guy has your back. We need more people that leave that impression, you know. And so if I can see my artwork helping someone like that, that makes me feel really good about what I'm doing. It's almost like that shooting star in the sky that says, you're on the right path, dude. You know, but I don't know. I like the different purposes of art. Again, even to bring someone's, like, ideas to life. Like, I love
for real
getting with writers, and they're like, "Dude, that's exactly how I saw it in my head. How did you do that?" You know. Or,
that's right.
I did a cover for Smiling Bandito's Black as Hell book that is coming down the way, I believe, and a piece in that had this really dynamic part in it that he couldn't really see too clearly, but he described it to me. And then I did take some artistic liberties and added some stuff that he went, dude, I didn't even think about that. That's part of it now. And I'm going to go in and write, you know, that into the story. You know, I was like, oh, cool. Like, that's what's pretty neat too, is back to, you know, you don't want to get a unicorn when you ask for a horse, but sometimes that artist knows where you're going and knows a little bit more of the subject maybe than you did as the writer. You know, like, I like a lot of Egyptology stuff, and I read stuff from that era a long time ago, and I still, like, am interested in a lot of it. So Sanskrit or hieroglyphics or anything like that, I start like if you're dealing with ancient magic or something, dude, I'm probably gonna be sneaking some, little markings or something like that somewhere to kind of elicit that ancient script or ancient version, or having skin hang off of an old deity, like just stuff like that, or a tattoo even. Like I used to be a tattoo artist for 10 years, licensed, and just putting old ancient tattoos on something like, I didn't even think to do that. That's stinking cool, yeah.
No,
I don't know, but yeah, I'm getting pretty far in this. Maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really do got to buy.
Yeah, you gotta go. Yeah, you gotta go. But yeah,
thanks for having me on, man. I definitely stayed a lot longer, so I'm probably my wife's gonna go. Oh, you were up there for 2 hours, whatever.
Tell her thank you for me.
Yeah. I had fun, man. Anytime, obviously. If you ever want me to hang out, if I can, shoot me the link or just say whatever, man. If I can pop in, I will, and then vice versa. I know I go late when I do the show, but you're always welcome on my show, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, and appreciate the support and everything, and the camaraderie, dude. It's awesome.
For real, man. And like I said, we'll definitely be talking about this tonight because I want to show off the I've been calling them crack crystals, but the load-ins, the load-in lamp. I was like, I don't think I'm wrong on the crack crystal thing, but the load-in lamp, I wanted to show that off and tell people. So I definitely wanted to point that out tonight. But yeah, we're going to be doing a show. Obviously, you're more than welcome if you're up. If not, no big deal. Because I'm going to probably drink a few drinks and have a good time.
What's your favorite drink of choice before you go?
Usually whiskey, but if it's beer, I'm going to drink Guinness.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I'm a sake and absinthe fan.
See, I'm fine with that. So I've never had sake, but
warm it up.
it was I'll check it out. But it what was it, absinthe? So I've always been curious about that. I'm a big fan of finding old stuff, and so I've always gone to thrift stores and that type of stuff. I've shopped for a long time on eBay, just finding old vintage stuff, and so I've always come across the absinthe
distillery
thing. The thing where you melt the sugar cube and you put that in there.
That's fancy. I'm redneck with it.
I'm into it. You're like I'm redneck with it, but you're drinking the fancy drink.
It's the artist drink, dude.
Right? You're rolling with chains and I don't know, maybe on your thing with skulls and whatever. And I'm ready to put on a suit and tie and drink my absinthe with the sugar cube melted on the gold fucking thing and out of the crystal goblet. That's where I'm at. Yeah. So I was I know I throw people off because I wear this hoodie, but I was downstairs we have drink water out of actual old crystal water goblets.
Oh, you don't do the balls jar, the mason jar, the balls.
Yeah. Well, I drink. I got that now. I drink my iced tea out of it. I drink a lot of that. So I am drinking out of the mason jar, but that's only born on the fact that I'm clumsy with drinks. I kick them. We don't have coffee table, so I'm always putting them on the floor next to my sofa or whatever. And then all of a sudden I kick my drink across the room. So then I spend the next 20 minutes cleaning up the carpet.
If I could get my little brother to make a Beckon coffee table, would you be interested?
One that sounds crazy expensive, and my wife would murder me. No, the thing is, we're in military housing, and so we've gone from bigger house to bigger house. So now, we just have a lot of crap crammed in this tiny house. So the reason we don't have a coffee table anymore, it's because there's literally no room. Yeah. But I mean,
all right, man. Well,
sounds awesome.
I will let you go.
Yeah, appreciate it.
But yeah, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. Yeah.
All right,
later, man.
Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you. All right. Well, guys, like I said, I need to probably take another break, but what I got to do is I got to come up here in these chains and detail those out, build my contrast in this hand palm, the palm area. It's that. So I may even need to add some wrinkles to kind of show under there underneath the thumb contour. And then I need to get that other arm back there. So I'm going to go ahead and detail this up before breaking because I have to really think about where that other arm is going to go. I usually want to render all this out before that, but hey, we're having fun now. So what's up, y'all? Yeah, and that's what's cool. Everybody's got so much like intrigue and interest coming from all different directions in this group, and I love learning it and love learning how people look at things differently. I mean, going back to what we were talking about, even with like editors or, you know, just audience members, I mean, this is just as much for the audience as it is for anybody in their craft. So yeah, what I said earlier, I'm going to retcon that a bit. This is, you know, we create art for everybody, you know, even the critics. So don't want to be that narrow-minded for myself. But yeah, let's see. How do those wrinkles? Let's see. So who's still in here in the chat, guys? Sorry, I haven't been really up on it. Yeah, I dig sugar cube process. Gold flakes in it, right? 80s one. That's funny. Oh man. Yeah, what's up, guys? Yeah, one of the big things about, like, for me was trying to stop drinking while I was running all this. I can't, like, I like to have a lot of fun, and when I do work, it's not usually time for me to start getting ADD or confused or even experimental. Like, I kind of need to know what I'm doing when I'm going into this stuff. So my advice is stay sharp. You know, that's the biggest thing, is I just want to stay sharp while everything's hinging on, I don't know, me, I guess, or the artwork, or, you know, me selling the thing right. I gotta be clear-headed. And absinthe is surprisingly calmer than the sake. The sake hits hard, baby. But yeah, I'd advise staying sober to do just about anything that you care about. Because if you make a mistake later on, you'll just be blaming your habits. And then that's no good either. You're supposed to be able to master your habits, as dirty as they can be, or as they may be. And then I hold myself to that standard too. It's not for everybody. Yeah, some people like the box of wine before they go live, and that's fine. I don't know. Like I said, it's just for me. Real hard thing is when I'm partying out and chilling out, and then I get a call late at night, and I'm like a bottle of sake down, and I'm like, oh yeah, I want to talk. And that gets me into problems or issues. I interrupt people a lot. I try to finish people's sentences. And it's not to be rude. It's like, hey, I understand what you're talking about, right? It never really comes off that way. My dad plays this trick on me, always has when I was a kid. I'd be explaining some idea to him, and he'll just look at me with a confused look. And so I'll try to explain it again, and he'll still give me that look, and I'll do it again and again, and then eventually he'll break and smile at me and says, I understood you the first time. I was just seeing how many times you would want to explain it. So, yeah, the interrupting when I'm like that is just kind of like, hey, yeah, I am actually understanding you, I hope. Maybe you don't have to re-explain that part or find more words. But then, Jeremy, just stinking listen, you know? What am I in a rush for? So, yeah, I'm learning even now, always. Oh, these chains. Why did you have to design this guy with chains? No, it's cool. It's cool. I'm just trying to... So the chains cross across the chest, don't they? Yes, they do, Jeremy. You dum-dum. All right. I really like the muscle right there, though. my brain's trying to do a little bit of gymnastics in this area to try to get how can I get the chains to cross without changing too much. Oh, art's so much fun. And then if I do erase anything and put something there, all that area is going to get overworked, if that makes sense. So I also need to artistic license that a bit. Let's see. The good thing about crack is even when you make a mistake, you can do it over again 3 more times in the same amount of time. Would it take you to do it? Nice. Yep. Colonel has a good point. Crack only. Yeah, it's crack only, man. What's up, Collision Bob? Yeah, thank y'all. Oh, so yeah, back to this. Yeah, artistic license on not crossing the chains. I don't know if that's not cool or not. I'm going to make an executive decision and say I'm not going to cross the chains because I don't want to overwork that area. Yeah, that's my decision. Hey, at least I got the chain under the jacket right here. You know, I was worried that it would go over, but it goes under. Cool. All right, so back to chains. Get these detailed out, and then I'm going to take another break, and then I got to attack this back arm and see what I'm going to do about that. Down, 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 down. Repetitive beats. Down, down, down. I'm going to start rapping to this. No, don't rap, Jeremy. We heard you on global frequency. The rap with a W. Whitey rap. They really could, like, I don't know, put a randomizer button on this. Like something. Just to change up that. It says loop. Okay. I'm going to take loop off, see what happens. We're probably going to get like lamb chop sing along sound and stuff. So this is not right. What's that? Yeah, that's not right at all. What was I doing? Oh, that's what that is. Okay, no, I'm right. Too many lines, starting to get confused, tripping my brain up. And then that's dark and there, bring that there. Right, gotcha. I also like Modelo, like Especial as far as like beer. You know, I like lagers too, like really dark beers. The more like soy sauce it tastes like, the more I like it. Yeah, I hate being like drunk though. Back when I was tattooing and working at restaurants and stuff, I had to drive probably about 40 miles every day to get from one job to the other on the interstate. And I used to pride myself to get so much done all over the place. So like drinking to me was just like, nah, don't do it. You can't drive. You can't do anything. Now I'm like, I don't want to do anything. I want to stay home. So, oops, I'm drinking. I can't go anywhere. Sorry. It's funny. Usually I'm kind of staying home because I'm busy working. Now see, I turned loop off and now it stopped playing music. See what I mean? Man, come on, StreamYard. Daydream was Daydream. We'll see. Oh, feeding the ducks. We're going to feed the ducks. All right, change it up a little bit. I don't even know what that means. Let me get a little snare snap. All right. Probably should have just drew this and put it on a speed vid, but this is more fun. Get to talk to people. And 80s Made's really cool, man. He had me on his channel in that first launch week, and it was a lot of fun. Cool guy, man. You guys go sub this channel. Did I wrench him? Did he have a wrench? Yeah, he's got a wrench. All right. Yeah, link his channel in those things. I guess I need to start telling guests as like, yeah, throw your link to your YouTube in the channel, man. See, like I was saying earlier, my foreshortening on that forearm is a little tricky. I don't think it's wrong per se, but there's so much going on up in imaginary spaces off the page. If you get what I'm saying. So, makes what actually hits in the composition possibly look a little gnarly and not like suspicious. But I'm pretty sure I'm right. Get these darker contrasts with this ebony pencil. Popping some low lights. Oh wait, I missed something. Did I miss something? I don't think I did. Nope, I didn't. Okay. Oh, yeah. I didn't. I probably did. Yeah, and that's the other thing. I wish I knew these characters a bit more. Like Malin's godlike character. When I looked at one of the images on the campaign, I saw the character, on the front, and then I thought I saw the same character in the promotional images, but it might have been the same character with shorter hair. And I was like, never seen anyone really kind of like push that angle in this group just yet, is like massive hair growth on a superhero. So I thought the one in the book was a male and the one on the cover was a female. So I kind of did that pencil sketch with a pretty androgynous appearance to it because I couldn't really make out. I don't know enough about the characters to have made that choice. So yeah, if any of you want to tell Malin I drew his character in a trans situation, you're gonna hurt me. But yeah, no. It's not what it was, but it did come out really feminine. But let's see. Yeah, so I've got that back foot and the back leg lift in this. So I'm gonna take a little break again, go outside, try to think about some stuff. I could just stink and just drill out. What am I doing? If I drill out that, I'm basically almost done. So I can stave off a cigarette. My dogs aren't getting on me right now. All right. Well, if I'm gonna do that, what's this dude's feet look like? Chains again. Yeah. Chains on what? Boots. Chains on what? Does he ever draw the feet? Oh, he's got bare feet, huh? Oh yeah, because he's a Hulk type, right? Oh, what's up, Dean? What's up? What's up, Dean? Good morning. Good morning. Unlike me, Mo Biggs, you're. Oh yeah. Unlike me and Jace, right. I was like, dude, you were one of my first wrenches. Actually, that sounds more non-binary. Okay, well, you can tell him that too. But yeah. All right. So we are. And I gotta work up in here. So yeah, he's got chains around his ankles. Giggity. And big old freaking thigh. Something like that needs to come away. Where'd my pencil go? I'm missing a pencil. Not cool. Fuck it. And we'll find it. Somewhere over the rainbow. Christmas tree. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Gotcha. All right. So, yeah. He's got a big old thigh. Big old honking legs. So, no, I'm not erasing that. What am I doing? I'm erasing these. And I gotta connect these chains right here and then foreground some stuff right above it. That's disgusting, but works. Okay. Big old stinking thighs. I just went to reach for Alt F4 or Alt Z. You make a slash, you want to erase it. Okay. Yeah, they're not ripped either. They're just chained all the way down. There's a chain across the thighs, so I've got more chains to draw. Yeah. I love chains. So much I was a punk. Okay, the other thing with chains, they all got, with tension, they all face basically the same bit. I'm going to say since he's in the air, there's not flexing going on, so muscles are looser. So the chains might kind of rotate a little bit. Try to be fancy or yesterday and go, oh, I'm going to make all the chains kind of spiral rotate. Dream big. That's getting up in that Croatia area. That was that Jeff Dunham watch joke. Do you remember the Swatch? Yeah, I remember the Swatch. Good thing they weren't made in Croatia. Sorry, my crutch is running a little slow. Okay. Oh, you guys, okay, you can see it. sounds like I'm picking a team in NBA Jam. How come they didn't have Dennis Rodman and Michael Jordan in that video game? Probably because of legal reasons. I do believe modders had put them in. Everyone has a Jeremy wrench. All right, cool. Sweet. Well, if you guys want to, I mean, pop your links if you got them. Dean, I know you got links, bruh. Show your art up. Dean is awesome. Okay, Jeremy. Can you draw chains or can you not draw chains? I could draw chains. You know what's real fun? Photorealistic chainmail. There's a cool little pattern that it makes at certain angles. And you can simplify it a lot easier, but I like simplifying accurately, not like making a mark that from far away it looks like chain. I still like the ability for you to look real close and see the links. This is a bit different though. I give it to you, comic book guys. There is a nice shorthand you guys got for them. Okay. Ebony pencil. All right, I'm tired of being sissy about it. It's time to get that other arm in there. That's really cool. Dean Ismo still here. I think he's seen this. Yeah, it's really cool, Dean. It reminds me of the way I felt when Jay gave everyone but me a wrench. Aww. Yeah, guys, go check it out. He's dropping the links. I'm trying to figure out if Rodman was an NBA Jam because I thought he was. Jordan and Barkley aren't. I don't think Rodman was. Oh, it's because they had their own games? All right. Yeah, dude, if Rodman was in there, wouldn't it make sense that every time that you chose like him to be on the roster, like his hair would be a different design, different color? What's up, Jay Ryan? All right, so I guess I've got the human or the no claw version of PITT here. I don't know if that's even a thing. Looking at some good references. Okay, that works. Give me a second here. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Getting something set up so I can get this arm in there real quite nice like. See that. All right. Oh, let's see here. Okay. Let's go. Let's do them. All right. So we want. Claw right there. That, and then that. To get that. I'm gonna pull a curve on it. Should I curve it now or should I no, keep it straighter? I'm gonna put a slight curve to it. Back in. Gotta get my knuckles right. My phalanges. Okay, cool. Get my thumb in there. Get my palm. Dude, this guy's got some deep palms. Okay, fingers are gonna curl around that way. So get that. Oh, off page. Come on, let me. All right. All right. Not really a swipe like we were talking about. Just put a soda can. Surge right in that hand. What you guys saying? Def Jam was fun because it used the good wrestling game engine. Yeah, Def Jam was interesting, and it was the good engine. I remember that game. You need Bud to help your anatomy? No, we never get done because there's a lot of mistakes. I was gonna say Def Jam. Yep, that's the one. Oh, I vaguely remember a fighting game that was starring an early. Oh yeah. Yep, that was it. Oh, Shaq Fu was insane, dude. Shut Up and Jam. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, Shaq Fu, insanely goofy. Did you know they remade that? What's up, Sumo? How you doing? Yeah, they recently did a remake of that, I believe. Man, the controls sucked on the original one, but I thought the animation was cool. a little short on that phalange, I believe. We make it work. Like, you know those the sound chips in the old Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. I know you got people that can make music stylized with that stuff, but it still just doesn't sound the same. I catch myself like looking up. I've said before, like, what kind of music you listen to? Like game music. I'll seriously look up, like, for example, NBA Jam music on YouTube and just have it playing. All right, so I've got the hand there. It does go off page a bit. I'm not worried about it. Hope you guys aren't. And I got chains popping up on those things too. That's what I gotta do next. I don't know about that. That's too fat for me. My forearm's too fat. It's probably right, but I don't get the wrist in there. There we go. Chains, more chains. Chains. I got no chains to hold me down. Two chains. Now, how many rows? He's got 3 rows of chains on that, right on his wrist. Dum, 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 dum. Because it's the other problem with my chains here. I don't give enough mass in the connection. So, if anyone wanted to ink this, you'll see a little bit of goofery happening in the chains. You guys singing? You know, I thought Shaq Fu looked pretty cool graphically. It just didn't play well. Not at all. Not at all. Streets of Rage. Yeah. Show. Chains. Be like Camel and use the chain brush, right? I was seeing someone, I think it was Trent Kanuga, going like, hey, check out how to draw these things. I'm like, yeah. You know, that's how you get the composite drawings or the photo bashing concept art where you see like cityscapes with crazy like architecture and stuff. Yeah, they're using the same Photoshop brush making situation. It's cool. Yeah, I wish I had a little chain brush tool in traditional. You kind of do with street painting, with graffiti. You make stencils. It's pretty fun. I designed a graffiti job once. I never saw it happen. I don't even think it ever did execute, but it was a portrait and had to break down all the colors and stuff in a two-tone or what's called hard edge. In certain paint, you just isolate all the color shapes and stuff. You see how many stencils you would need to get it all down. So I think in this case it was 4 of them. So 3 colors. You do it as a team. Guy holds everything in the backpack and walk, and everyone kind of goes in a single file line with some spacing. One person throws up the stencil, the other person sprays, the next person takes down the stencil, puts up a new one, the next layer, the person behind them sprays. By the time you get done with it, it was done super quick. And no one was caught. That's the plan anyway. Man, my phone is blowing up. Either you guys are back in Beck and recourse right now, or someone's not watching my stream. Just joking. Oh, man. Get some more chains done. I'll finish that up. And then, guys, I think I am going to call that the day. Once I get that all kind of done. There are some touch-ups to be done to it prior to me saying goodbye to it. But yeah, I think ultimately I'm there. If you all would like to see a part 3 where I do some of those touch-ups instead, let me know, because otherwise I think I'm there. I got to cut the edge. I got to finish out the chains on the back foot there. I got to finish out the chains here and get that arm rendered. Like I said, a lot of it's just tonal changes going through. I know there's supposed to be a chain on this thigh. Sue me. That's what that is. It's flying off. Other than that, I just don't know where else I could go with the concept thus far. I hate indenting the paper. Ugh. And ultimately I made his head too large. I've seen the proportions on this PITT character, and that head's really big. In my drawing, not in theirs. In the original concept, it's actually a proper Hulk head proportion to body mass. I'm glad some of you guys like that lamp idea, man. Like, I did not know. Like 80 and me said, he's not the only one who suggested me making a display for the load-ins. Chris Fisk also had suggested it too. But I didn't know how you guys are going, it's another knick-knack. Erg. You probably even heard me talk about, I know, guys, this is the last knick-knack I'm going to put on there. But you guys liked it. It seemed to be a pretty good choice so far. And it's another thing I can make in-house, so that's cool too. But yes, I think someone was saying it's cool because since the load-in shards were sold out and the cube was sold out so quick, it's neat to have another one of those artifacts available that doesn't have a limit. So go for it. They're not limited. I can make all kinds of them. Light up the world with lamps. Crystal crack lamps. Maybe I should have sold them as crack lamps. I guess I'd be calling the shard a knife at that point too. Was it Mo asking if you could smoke them. Get me in trouble. That's funny. Ooh, Jeremy, what are you doing? Man. Chains, man. Chains. What you guys saying? Maybe he should have sold them as crack lamps. This campaign has turned into an Etsy store, right? That's what I was afraid of. Jeremy's like, buy my knickknacks. Oh, and this comic too, I guess. Right? Oh, you told Ogden to make a lamp? Yeah, artist ADD for sure, Collision. Oh, yeah. Nah, I like, I mean, the crystals were kind of the first start of that, where I was like, what can I... Okay. I'm going to go to the beginning of this. When I heard that Joe was getting music made for his comic book, I was like, what? So, like, people could listen to it while they read? And he was like, yeah. I guess I kind of took that a little bit further and was like, well, what if they were holding one of the loading crystals while they read? That would be cool. And then I kept kind of running with that idea. Oh, if they held the loading shard in there, that would be cool. And yeah, it just kind of snowballed from there. I think I got one more thing to do to put out, and it's not something I make. It's something that one of our guys in the group make, but we might be talking about that on the back end of the second 30 days. But yeah, there's enough stuff now for now. Keep you guys interested. Oh yeah, tell your friends, man. Even your imaginary ones. You never know. They might have a wallet stashed somewhere. And no, that's not like the wife's purse or anything like that. Nah, we're real happy where we're at. Like I was saying before, just being able to make this stuff in the book and getting you guys excited, I can tell you, it's awesome. So thank you all. It's exciting. Especially Mo. Thank you to Mo, man. You've kind of been there since the beginning with me, dude. On the YouTubes. Making sure my skin is thick and my brain is humorous. A little self-deprecate, you know that word. But we're getting here. What's up with that? Y'all cowards don't eat smoke crack. What's up with that? Y'all cowards don't eat smoke crack. Get the smoke lamps now. These crack rocks glowing for you. See, I can't rap. It just gets gnarly. I start getting white boy rappy. I can't rhyme worth nothing. Do that Viper intro. I was going to start freestyling my own verses. No. trying to get customers, not lose them. Johnny deprecating. Yeah. It's nice when people remember me. Just prioritize the soundtrack to his comic over his comic. That's no. Ooh. All right. Back to ebony pencil. Let's get some of these things popped. Ooh. Sharpen it. I don't even know what I just did there. Tourette. Artist Tourette. That's what that was. Oh, I heard Steve Worster and them has got a new holiday special in the makings. I don't know if I was supposed to say that or not, but yeah, guys, keep up with your crack pack. Y'all be seeing some funny stuff. Now, does he got hair follicles everywhere? Or is that just cross hatching? Alrighty. Okay. So what do you guys like? Do you like my digital stuff or you want more traditional work? I guess I haven't asked you guys yet. You want to see more traditional or how long it takes me to do digitals? Traditional! Wow. Now, I don't think there will ever be a rap battle atop that one in the 90s where Viper literally assassinated Biggie and Tupac, right? That's funny. Wow. But yeah, traditional. Let's make rap battles great again. I like roast battle. You know. Because, dude, when people tried roast battle when they couldn't do it, there's nothing better than watching someone, like, just eat it hard, trying to be funny or trying to be edgelordy. It's so much fun. Like, there's the Kill Tony show, which is all the comedians get up there, but the show is like, you got 1 minute uninterrupted, so no hecklers or anyone, but you gotta make them laugh in 1 minute. And dude, some of these guys shouldn't have tried it. I mean, hey, if you got the cojones to go up there and do that, which I would love to once I got a set figured out, cool. That's part of the game. But dude, it's so wonderful when they suck so bad. I guess it's a little bit of like, I used to watch cringe videos until I stopped watching them. I mean, I guess once you see enough of them, kind of get sick of them. But there's a little element of, you know, at least I've made mistakes like that. You know, kind of a bit humbling, I guess. I mean, you first go, oh, look at that dumbass, and then you're like, oh, I've done that before. And dude, I've crashed and burned at saying some dumb jokes too. Let's see, Sumo likes a little part of your soul, so he wants traditional art too. Right? Going back to part of my soul. I'm getting an ink Sumo's piece in a clean room, so he won't get any of my DNA. Colonel gets tired of watching cringe videos and decides to make his own. Yeah, that's kind of where I was getting at there with the, I've kind of crashed and burned multiple times. I don't even think I did crash and burn. There's no sugarcoating that. But again, that's how you get your sea legs, man. Oh, I'm arguing with the chains again. Some BDSM stuff. I just got this weird feeling that I'm drawing a furry picture. I don't know PITT enough. I mean, it's got jeans on. You know, there was an article about if a dog wore pants or something, like how would it wear them? Would it wear them over all four of its legs, or would it just be the back end? I mean, hey, if anyone's book looks like a furry book, it's Beckoned. So I'm not trying to start anything. I'd clone my own artist army. I'd be clone high. You got that funny feeling? Yeah. I did kind of step in that, didn't I? All right. I don't want to draw the grotesque feet, dude. Nobody wants to see a stanky, grotesque, bunion-ridden feet. His Indian name would be Crooked Toe. I'm sorry, Native American name would be Crooked Toe. All right. Yeah. Okay. So I got to get on my cutter and basically cut that down. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. No. Actually, it might be pretty good. I don't know. Stink nasty, guys. Oh, did I do that? Please tell me I didn't. I did. I did. I knew I did. Okay. Guess what's going to happen? Where's my ruler? And I can actually show you guys. Actually, I'll show you just with. Oh, here it is. All right. So this is supposed to be 11 by 17, and we did that in the beginning and went, I gotta cut off the sides. So if you look, that's 11, meaning all that right there gets cut off if I did it. Or I can take the difference from here and take a little bit off there, off of this side. So not taking out anything cool. And in fact, if I'm doing that, I could go ahead and finish this knuckle right here and keep that within the confines of the composition. So that's what I'm doing. Ha ha! Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Life finds a way. Life finds a way. Showing the hand would be ideal. Yes, it would. Yes, it would. So, get out this, get out the marker, the ruler again. I'm done with the figure. It looks like there needs to be something in the background. Let's, what me and D-Wag were talking about, like some buildings or something. So yeah, there might be a part 3 to this. It's really hoping to get done. Watch when he sees Billy. You should have more chains in there. They're like, no. I think it looked really good if you just had a couple more chains in there. All right. Let's see. We got 11. So that 11 mark. Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot being yanked off there. Alrighty. So I'll lop it there and I'll lop it over here. And yeah, that'll be it. That takes his face off center a bit. Man, always carve your paper before you start drawing. Always cut it first. I mean, the idea was that it would be in the 11 by 17 format. Right now it's in 14 by 17. I mean, you want 11 by 17 so it's proportionate enough for the book, like for a cover type thing, right? Or you can just take it as 11 by 14 and crop it yourself when it's, you know, if you ever did want to make it into a cover. And again, this is for an auction. I don't believe it's for the artist who created PITT. So I don't think I'm gonna cut anything now. You could still find a frame for 11 by or 17 by 14. That's what it is, isn't it? Yeah, 17 by 14. I think you can find a frame for that. This is a weird shaped piece of paper. Gotta take my ghost line out of there that I sketched. Yeah, like I said, sometimes you just got, I don't know. Like I said, maybe that's why we need to do like a part 3 so I can think about that decision before executing it. Because there's no going back. All right, yeah, I'm okay with that. Let me take one more photo of it, and that'll be that for the day, guys. Thank you for hanging with me. Where's my phone? Right there. Oh, third is fine. Showing the hand would be third is fine. Thirds is fine. Bow. Get that shaped up here. Yeah, like I said, when I get back to this tomorrow, I'll probably have a decision on whether I'm carving it or not. I don't like the idea of needlessly cutting it down. Like I said, if it's for composition for a book, though, yeah, that'd be a bit different. This is. Okay. Send that to my emails, and then I'll show you guys on the screen, and we will call it the day. Come on, intro knit. Oh, so slow. Why so slow? There it is, I think. No, that was done at 10. Where's mine? I just sent it. Email's working slow. We'll send it again. Okay. Send. Let's go. I heard it. Okay, here we go. And that is what we got so far. I need to get a better picture, better lighting. Yeah, because it's not focusing from that far away. But yeah, you guys can see what's happening. That background's a little plain, so I think I am going to have to add some stuff back in there to complete the composition. Yeah, the proportions. I gotta get more used to the exaggeration of a lot of stuff. Because yeah, you guys know what I mean. If you're familiar with PITT, yeah, more hulkish, less Liver King. Just get a bigger man frame. Do you plan on scanning it? Yes, I do, because this camera photograph crap isn't working. But yeah, guys, appreciate y'all stopping by again. Yeah, press that like button, subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. Thank you all for the answers to my questions too. I'm glad you all like the original traditional stuff. Trust me, the picture's not giving this thing any stinking credit. That's why I need to get a better focus on the camera. But yeah, anyway, Love you guys. Thank you all very much for showing up. We will see you again. Have a good weekend. Be safe. Yeah, bye. Go back and recourse if you haven't. Yeah. Bye.